The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
Every man has his techniques, and they're all different.
They said you're not normal, why don't you sing R&B? I said I got no rhythm and I got no blues, I'm as happy as can be. They said how can you not bop to hip-hop? I said I most certainly do. Did you not see me dancing the other night like the girls on Channel U? Yeah, I can wind down low, be like the girls in the videos, but for me that's much too slow because I prefer rock and roll. I say yeah, I can wind down low, dance like the girls in the videos, but for me that's a no-no because I prefer rock and roll, rock and roll. They say why'd you wear a shirt and tie? Now that's a bit bizarre. I said I like to look good when I go on stage, strumming my guitar. I like to sing my songs about real life things like good times and romance, and I prefer to do it in my skinny jeans and minuscule hot pants.
Every man has his techniques,
cause this baby got no back,
and they're all different.
Yeah, I can wind down low, be like the girls in the videos, but for me that's much too slow because I prefer rock and roll. I say yeah, I can wind down low, dance like the girls in the videos, but for me that's a no-no cause I prefer rock and roll, rock and roll. Why can't people just let me be? I'm only putting out what comes best to me. Some people get their kicks with other things, but I get mine with wood and string. Yeah, I can wind down low, be like the girls in the videos, but for me that's much too slow because I prefer rock and roll. I say yeah, I can wind down low, dance like the girls in the videos, but for me that's a no-no cause I prefer rock and roll. Yeah, I can wind down low, be like the girls in the videos, but for me that's much too slow because I prefer rock and roll. I say yeah, I can wind down low, dance like the girls in the videos, but for me that's a no-no cause I prefer rock and roll, rock and roll.
I still don't know what genre of music she prefers. Cass back?
Yeah.
Get over it. It's all downhill from here. Good evening. This is my thumb clicking. Oh, no, that wasn't a good one. This one will be. There we go. This is the Late Night Alternative. My name is Iain Lee. You are listening to Talk Radio. You can listen to us on DAB. You can download the Talk Radio app. Of course, you can listen online at www.you'llhavetoguesstherest.com. I tell you what I don't like is the way people, right, say something complicated to me. Confused.com.
Oh.
I hate it when people do that.
Are they still doing that?
Yeah, they're doing that. They're doing that a lot. Confused.com. I hate it. Just say, I'm sorry, what did you say?
That's div.net, isn't it?
What? It's bellend.org. I think it is. Really, really busy show this evening, guys. At midnight, we're going to go live to America and speak to Anne Moses. We've had her on before. She's fabulous. And she edited Tiger Beat magazine, I think it was. I can never remember the name of it. I'll double check.
Find out before she comes on.
I will do. In the 60s, and she was like friends with Elvis and the Monkees, and she was going out with a Bee Gee, and she hates Lulu. And she's brilliant. I don't normally do this, but can I, what would be, can I, let me think of a word. By the way, you can call in about anything. 0344 499 1000. And I don't normally do this because we like on this show to celebrate the positive.
Who are you moaning about then?
No, I'm going to unrecommend something.
Okay.
I'd like to unrecommend a book to you. And it's the book, we mentioned it briefly yesterday, but I'm aware that bank holidays are a strange beast in terms of broadcasting. So probably a lot of you weren't here. That's fine, as long as you're here now. But it's by a drummer called Carmine Appice. And his book is A Piece of SH1T. He's a drummer, And it's good that, and I thought of that today when I was out walking the dog.
Well, do they pronounce his name Apiso? Or is it not Apiche?
I think it's a piece
Okay.
because an American said to me, "Oh, you got the book by Carmine Apice."
Okay.
And he'd met him when he was 12. So he's a drummer. He was in Vanilla Fudge. He toured with Rod Stewart for a long time. He co-wrote "Do You Think If You Want My Body Gone?" Is that called "Do You Think I'm Sexy"?
Do You Think I'm Sexy?
Do ya think I'm? He co-wrote that, and I like my rock and roll tales of chemical excess and
Fruity Business.
Fruity Business, sexual badinage. But his book is basically a long list of sexual assault. Actual sexual assault told in the voice of a man, braggadocio.
Oh.
Yeah. I've listened, Catherine. When you were off for 2 weeks, I realised that you were right when you were away. This is the conclusion I came to.
Okay, go on.
I'm Whitney Houston, and you're Bobby Brown.
I'm Bobby Brown.
Yeah. Oh yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I thought I was definitely more Whitney.
Offended? Well, that's your prerogative. And you are feeding me crack cocaine.
What, with long words?
By being dismissive of me. So yes, I know words like braggadocio.
Braggadocio.
Yeah, it's not how it's now. No.
I think it's with an O.
Do you want to make this 3-0 in terms of the pronunciation guide? Do you want to?
It's probably it.
Right, hang on a minute. Let's find it. It will stop the show. Braggadocio. Pronounce. Oh, mate, it's not spelt with an O. It's spelt with an A. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Listen.
Yeah, with an O.
Braggadocio or braggadocchio.
Braggadocio. Yes, what I was saying.
It's with an O.
I said it right.
You said with an A.
There's 2 A's in there. So twice the A's you were talking about.
Unbelievable.
Anyway, I'm Whitney Houston and I don't want to die in a bath. I want to fly and I want to have my 4th, 5th and 6th and 7th seasons of Man. Mm-hmm. So, Bobby Brown, I'm saying no. No to you.
And my facts.
Yes. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. Like lancing a boil.
Wow.
No, I didn't mean it like that.
You did?
Oh God, I didn't mean it like that. It's a Freudian slip.
No.
Like pulling off a plaster. The best thing is to do it quickly. Good evening, Alan.
Hip, hip, hip.
Okay.
I'm in Blackpool.
Fantastic. There we go. You see, it's done. It's done. We've done it, and it's done. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. What is an Indian summer? Now, think before you drink, before you drive. Click every trip. Let the train take the strain. I think 2 of those 3 slogans I mentioned were voiced by
Jimmy Savile.
Thank you very much indeed.
Go to work on an egg.
Well, yes.
You have been, haven't you?
I have been. Not today. I didn't have my omelettes today because I didn't have omelette today. But I'm losing weight, guys. Sub 15 stone for the first time. 14 stone, 13 3/4. I'm clinging on to those 3/4. I'm having breakfast is generally an omelette with a little bit of spinach on the side, plain omelette, no cheese in it. Right. And then I won't eat until I come in, and I'll have a low calorie sandwich and an apple. And yes, I am miserable, but. Because
and yes, I am eating chocolate in secret.
She is. Here's the thing. An Indian summer is something. It's not just a summer that goes on a bit.
No, it's not. It starts late.
Right. Tell me. Tell me an Indian summer. Tell me what it is then. Tell me.
I think an Indian summer.
Yeah.
Is a summer that traditionally summer's supposed to start in May, June. The darling buds of May, all that. No, what are you doing with your belt?
I'm adjusting my belt because
I know it's an exciting fact, but please.
Summer starts in June. May is spring.
It's supposed to start.
Okay.
At the end of May. Anyway,
June.
An Indian summer.
Yes.
Is one that doesn't kick in till now.
Incorrect.
Oh, go on.
Incorrect. An Indian summer, I believe, starts in September.
It's nearly September now.
No, but it's not. It's August. You can't be so vague with the ending and the beginning of months. That is not. It's not. You don't get a calendar and at the end of February it kind of just 22, 20, or whatever. Just go to March now. You can't do that. It's very specific.
You got me there. You destroyed me. Go on.
Very specific. So an Indian summer, I believe, begins in September. So the front page of the Daily Star, and this is interesting because we've had a lot of people recently, nut jobs, phoning in, complaining about the mainstream media. And I'm really trying. If you're one of these people, if you're listening at home now, and you're one of these people that thinks the mainstream media is out to lie. David, we spoke to yesterday. Sterling, just at the end, we got his fears about the mainstream media lying. Everything in the media is lying to us.
He said on the radio.
Yeah, that's owned by Rupert Murdoch. And so the front page of the Daily Star, I'm trying to look through the eyes of people who mistrust the mainstream media. I'm questioning everything. Absolutely question. Tonight, this is what we're going to do. We are going to question every story that's presented to us in the newspapers.
Does the Daily Star still qualify as a newspaper?
Shut
it's
up,
pretty
man.
much porn for cowards, isn't it, these days?
No, it's not, actually. It's let's go to page 3. I bet there are no tits. Oh, no, there are tits. Indian summer set to last a month. OK. Sizzling Britain is set to enjoy the hottest Indian summer for 11 years, with temperatures of up to 31 degrees C next month, so September. Or October, if you're Catherine. Sun seekers hit the bank holiday, hit the bank holiday beaches yesterday, while Spain's Costa del Sol with last rain. Turn to page 5. So, an Indian summer. I don't think an Indian summer can be hot in August, then hot through to September. I don't think that's an Indian summer.
It's called summer.
I think it's got to be. It's got to be like. I think it's got to be September, and maybe the first week of October as well. Does anybody know, dear listener?
Do we have any Indians listening?
No, it doesn't work like that.
Well,
hottest Indian summer for 11 years. Here we go. Britain is poised. Remember, we're looking all of these stories through the prism of people who do not trust the mainstream media. 0344 499 1000. Britain is poised for the hottest Indian summer for 11 years. With forecasters predicting. Experts reckon temperatures will soar over the next few weeks after the nation basked in glorious sunshine yesterday. Yeah, it doesn't give the definition of what an Indian summer is, and so I think they're just throwing the term. Which is actually, guys, a little bit racist. I think they're throwing the term around willy-nilly with nary a thought for what it actually means.
Do you also think that they're trying to push some kind of hippy-dippy, eco-friendly idea of, supposed climate change, which, of course, is a conspiracy cooked up by the mainstream media, MSM?
Well, no. No.
I'm sure there's probably
Hang on a
something
second.
on YouTube about
Well,
it.
can we clarify something here? 0344 499 1000. Mainstream media, people often shorten it to MSM.
Mm.
Well, it's not. Mainstream is one word.
Where have you read that? In the mainstream dictionary?
No, it is.
Fool.
I saw a video about it on YouTube. MM.
Yeah.
So can we stop calling it the MSM? Because that is
fake news.
I don't want to focus on that and detract from the bigger picture, but that's the doorway to the gallery that houses the bigger picture. It's not MSM, it's MM. And the Melody Maker isn't in existence anymore, so there's no confusion to be had. 0344 499 1000. I feel today's going to be a great show, guys. This is Talk Radio.
Late night conversation worth losing sleep over.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We have ways of making you talk.
0344 499 1000. I cannot stress enough, you guys can call in about anything. David, I'll come to you in a second. Couple of, let me do 2 quick plugs. First plug is, this Sunday, September the 3rd, we are having our second game of Had/Tag/It. If you want to come, everybody is welcome. Yes. It's at 3 o'clock this Sunday. We're going to meet near Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park, and we'll play for about an hour with breaks. The rounds will be 8 minutes each. And we'll be playing various different variations of tag, but primarily it will be one man he. The last game, as is tradition at these events, will be all man he. Don't worry, it'll be explained on the day. Kids are welcome. It's being filmed. Make a nice little psychedelic movie out of it, which would be lovely. Mugger Harris is doing that, which is great. And everybody is welcome. So that's this Sunday. After I do the Virgin show, we're going to pop up there, get a bit of lunch, light lunch. And then we're going to play tag, stroke had, stroke it for about an hour. You come and take pictures and, shake hands and stuff like that. And if you, we'll do a little 10-minute, 15-minute recording of it. We won't do a full hour like we did before, but we'll certainly play some of it on the air. So you're welcome to that. Second and final ad for now. Sunday, September the 17th, Katherine and I are doing a live show in London. It's our only live show in London this year at King's Place. We are recording 3 or 4 episodes of our podcast, The Rabbit Hole. You are very welcome to come along. We've not quite sold half the tickets for the room. It's a very big room, but that doesn't matter, although it will sound a bit echoey. So if you feel sorry for us, buy a ticket, give it to a homeless person as well. That's absolutely fine. I think tickets are about £12 for that one. It's the most expensive one we're doing. Bless you. Miss those untimely rude interruptions. God, I miss those. So that's Sunday, 17th September. It's our only show that we're doing in London this year of The Rabbit Hole. If you go onto Google and type in Rabbit Hole, Iain Lee, King's Place, Katherine Boyle, so a combination of those things, it will pop up. It's in the evening of Sunday, the 17th September, and King's Place is a very, very delightful, delicious venue. Let's ask David Babcock. David, are you coming to either of those events?
No.
Okay, that's unfortunate for you, but that's very, very lucky for us. David!
Hey, a good evening to you, a good evening to Kath, and a good evening to the Cock Lovers.
Oh.
The what?
What the hell?
The Cock Lovers, my fan club.
Is that what you're calling it?
Yes, they love me, David Babcock. The Cock Lovers, how are you? Nat, Michelle, CJ.
May I? I've been in show business. It's going to be my 20th anniversary of professional show business next year. And we're going to celebrate. There's going to be parties. I think there's a TV special. I think the 11 o'clock show gang getting back together for an hour-long special on Channel 4. It's top secret. I shouldn't mention that, primarily because it's just a fantasy in my head. But can I give you just a little bit of advice? Would you mind?
Go ahead.
By calling your fan club the Cock Lovers, you could be giving people the wrong end of the stick, so to speak.
Why is that?
Well, cock also means rooster.
Right.
Cockerel. It's short for cockerel. And so you might get lots of people joining up.
Foul lovers.
Foul fans. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I've been in some clubs before, and they're always very, very careful about what they call them, because you want to make sure you give them the right names and you don't attract the wrong sort of clientele.
Yes.
Like, for example, for a long time, I was the very youngest member of the Girls Friendly Society.
Oh.
Yeah, in the Manchester area.
Girls Friendly Society?
Mm-hmm. The GFS.
Is that a gay club for women?
No.
Is it not? What? Hang on a minute. Say it again. The Girls Friendly Society.
Yeah.
It's gay.
No, it was cheap guides.
Sorry, there were cheap guides.
Well, if you couldn't afford the uniform for guides or brownies, right?
You went to the Girls Friendly.
You went to the Girls Friendly Society, and all you had to get was a neckerchief.
I thought it was a lesbian thing. I wasn't being flippant. That was me actually being liberal and elitist.
No.
So wasn't there a cheap version of the Cubs as well, which I wish I'd joined, because then I wouldn't have been molested. That's not a joke. That's a fact. Wasn't there?
You're not thinking Beavers, because that's just younger Cubs.
Beavers was invented. Beavers is. I don't agree with Beavers.
I was in the Beavers.
Sorry?
I was in the Beavers.
Okay, but wasn't there a cheap version called like it was called like Little Bears, or wasn't there? So there was something. There was some 0344 499 1000. I'm pretty sure there was something called the Blue Rivers or Little Bears or something like that. I'm sure there was.
Who was that famous guy in the 70s, the entertainer? He liked kids, didn't he? Who was that?
Gonna have to narrow it down a little bit.
I thought He always seemed to have kids around him. Is that what you're thinking?
No, it's not what I'm thinking at all. You're being very off colour tonight, David. Very off colour.
What's going on?
Isn't he? He's deteriorated. His mental condition has deteriorated.
You know why? He's been entered too much recently.
Exactly.
Have you had a busy weekend, David, with the spirits?
No, but I'm going on a paranormal investigation this weekend.
Are you?
With my good friend Richard Holder. So he's been a good
Hold it. His name's Richard Hold it.
Richard Holder.
So if you were to set up an investigation service, you'd call it Holder Babcock.
But hang on a minute. Are you saying his name is Dick Holder? Is that what you're saying? Is it really Dick Holder? You saying that? Say it.
Everyone makes that joke, but
you should. Here's one thing I've learnt, guys: you should never make jokes about someone's name. No. Never. It's the lowest. But Dick Holder.
Yeah, I didn't make that. His name's Richard Holder.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
And when we're going paranormal investigation.
What would a Dick Holder? Let's not go there. Where are you going to go? Ghost hunting, Dave?
Well, I don't want the cock lovers to follow me around, so I'm not going to disclose that.
Did you say cock botherers?
Cock lovers. Oh. Listen, I'm gonna lay down the law because by the way, can we tomorrow? I'm going to phone Ofcom up. I think it might be easier for everybody if we just do the show from their offices. I think that's probably going to be. It'll just save everyone so much time. We'll just do the show from the Ofcom offices. Do you think? Can you sort that out for us, Kath? I think that'll make life.
I've got him on speed dial. I'll just give him. I'll drop him a text.
It'll just save so much paperwork. I'm afraid if you're going to persist. Well, here's the thing, David. We are not allowed to promote individual fan clubs on the show. So if you continue to boast about your fan club, then I'm afraid we will have to enact the Paul from Liverpool clause and ban you.
I won't do it. Hey, Iain.
Yes? Are you drunk?
No, of course I'm not.
You sound absolutely steaming tonight.
Right. I might have had half a glass of wine, but it's nice having Kathleen back into it.
Well, OK, mate. Thanks.
He's definitely had more than one.
Thanks very much for calling. 0344 499 1000. Evening, G.
I'm a proud cock lover.
Oh, God.
Thank you very much for calling. There we go, you see.
Really.
That's that. You've not missed a lot, Catherine.
It would appear not.
You've not missed a lot. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. I had a bit of luck today. Took the dog out for a walk. We go for the poor dog. She's only Westie. She's got tiny legs. Right.
I know the feeling.
And but I power walk now.
Stride.
I power walk because I'm trying to lose weight. So we go for a nice. It takes about 45 minutes round Windsor Great Park. And we steam it. She can't keep up with me. I had a real twist of luck. Lady Luck looked down upon me today and she smiled and she gave me a cheeky wink and a pat on, ruffled my hair, which was nice. Walking over a little bridge, and I made point of going to this bridge because it's a little stream. And when I go there with the boys, it's nice weather. They go in, paddle in the stream, and it's fantastic. So they take off their shoes and socks, and they go and paddle in the stream, and the dog goes nuts in there, and they make thumb pots out of clay. Because I don't know if it's clay or mud, but
it's mud, isn't it?
Yeah,
it might be fecal matter.
And they make little thumb pots, and then they leave them to dry, and I go back and I pick them up the next day.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do, yeah. But they'd found some, again, probably fecal matter. They found this kind of brown stone that if you wrote, you could colour in, and they colour...
Hang on.
Sorry? They
found a brown stone?
Yes.
Oh dear, that's definitely a poo.
And they coloured in a wall. They did. They coloured in a wall.
Did they write their names?
No. Just coloured in a wall. Coloured in a wall. And I went back. I thought, I wonder if that wall they coloured in is still coloured. We don't say that these days, do we? Sorry. And I did, and it was. I went, oh, that's nice. I'll tell the boys.
It's very persistent stuff, you see.
But then I turned, looked down. I looked down on the floor. 15 knicker.
Woo!
A tenner and a fiver. Just there. Just on the floor. And I looked around. I looked behind me, there was nobody. I looked to 4, there was nobody there whatsoever. And I looked around, I thought, whoa, this is a predicament, right? but not a massive one. So I picked it up and I trousered it, 15 quid. And I did think, well, you can't take it into the police. I did consider it. You can't take 15 quid into the police, because you wouldn't go to the police going, let's be honest, the coppers would go out and buy a round of drinks. That's what they would do. And you wouldn't go to the police station going, I lost some money when I was out walking my dog, right? Also, it was in Windsor, and so everyone there is loaded.
Yeah.
And I thought about, well, maybe I should give it to charity. I thought, no, I won't actually. Charity can get knotted. Charity, there's enough money.
You do enough, you give and give, don't you?
Well, no, not me personally, but people as a whole.
I give and give, yeah.
Give loads to charity. I thought, no, there's no charity for me. No one set up a fund for me. And 15 quid right now would suit me down to the ground. So I pocketed it. Here it is. There's a £5 note. Here's a tenner. Look at that. Look at that. Didn't have that this morning. And I didn't do any work for it.
What if there's an old lady at home now thinking, I can't buy my groceries that would last me
Well,
all
she
week.
needs to be taken into social care, because if she's walking around with money falling out of her pockets, then that just shows just how screwed up the system is. So that is good.
She needs to learn.
So I'm going to become a scavenger, I've decided. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to scavenge. And I'm going to try and get by not buying anything, and not spending anything, and not earning anything. And we're just going to see how that goes for 6-7 months. See how that goes throughout the Indian summer. 0344 499 1000. This is the Late Night Alternative. This is Talk Radio.
Set free your mind. Let your fancy take flight. Conversation gets curiouser by the glow of moonlight.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
They're good, them trails, and they've got some brilliant ones as well with different callers and stuff saying stuff in. They're brilliant. And I happen to know, because I asked for it, that they are busy, not now, they've gone home, but they are making trails for the hashtag radio lock-in feature that we have been given permission to try once. We have been given permission by our boss to try once. If the show is going really well, and it's we get to sort of about 10 to 1, and we think, well, I don't think the show is quite finished. How about we stay for another half an hour or another hour? I mean, in theory, what time does Paul Ross start? Is it 6 or 7?
Yeah.
6, I think. 6 till 10. In theory, we could carry on until 6. It's unlikely, I'll be honest with you, but it's a possibility. And they're making trails for that, which I'm very excited about. So it means that if we go, let's have a hashtag radio lock-in, if the shows are rocking, we're going to have a radio lock-in.
Are you going to trigger an alert?
We trigger an alarm, an alert, and it goes, this is a radio lock-in. Something like that. So that's exciting. I don't think, judging on the first 32 minutes of the show this evening, that tonight will be the premiere of the radio lock-in. But no one else in the country is doing. No one else has ever done this before, where you can have a flexible end to a show.
So no one tells Scott Mills.
God flipping it, jeez. But my kind of thinking behind it is that nighttime, overnight radio is dead, right? It's dead. And there's stuff on TalkSport which we simulcast here, which is great if you like sports, right? I don't really like sports, and those boys do a cracking sports show through the night. Good luck to them. But I don't really like sports. What I like to hear throughout the night is fruitcakes, lunatics, members of fringe societies, all these kind of things. And that just isn't catered for. You know, I flick between BBC 5 Live, a BBC local radio station, a London national radio station on the drive home, and I play a little bit of topic bingo with myself. And I mean, what will they be doing? What will they be doing today? Oh, they'll be doing the front page of the Daily Mail. MP's anger as Christian girl forced into Muslim foster care. Boring.
Yes,
they'll be doing that. I don't know.
There'll be some sort of Brexit angle.
There might be something about North Korea as well. Those are the three that I would bank on as being part of the overnight phoning when I drive home. I could not give a stuff about any of those stories. I couldn't care less.
I did hear a rather delicious tidbit on the way home yesterday.
Oh, yes.
Which was an elderly man.
Yeah.
Being asked, a pensioner, I believe in his 80s,
yes.
being asked under what circumstances he would resort to prostitution.
Oh,
and he said, if his pension got low enough, he'd think about it.
Did that actually happen?
It happened.
Oh, I thought I dreamt that. No. Oh, I thought I dreamt that.
It's real.
Yeah. Oh, I thought I dreamt that. Isn't that funny? I must have dozed off with that on. I heard that. That was good. That was good, actually.
That made me chuckle.
But I've been listening, partly prompted by the in inverted commas and italics, author's own, the pranksters that we had last week that was really poor. And I've been online looking at some sort of phone pranks, and people aren't. But there's some are awful. I mean, they're awful. The new ones being done. So I've been delving into a lot of old talk radio, which is primarily LBC. Also some stuff from talk radio and speech radio, I should say, and listening to the delicious, the wonderful Peter Cook calls to someone who I genuinely think is. I think he's the best person working on radio at the moment, and people will go, what? When I say it. I genuinely mean this. Clive Bull. I think he is, for so many reasons, I think he is borderline genius at what he does. Shall we play one? We can play one, can't we? No one's calling in, so we might as well, so Sven from Swiss Cottage, right, was, so Clive Bull used to do the show, again, it was a radio innovation through the night, and it went on, I think, from 1 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the morning. And he would do some kind of corny stuff, you know, they'd have corny features and stuff, but also anyone could phone in, and the kind of people that phone in a radio show at 3:30 in the morning are different from the kind of people that phone in a radio show at 10:30 in the evening.
Well, because the vibe is different as well.
Yeah.
It's a lot more confessional.
And sometimes I feel that this is why I'm keen for the radio lock-in to be a success, is because you can feel things shifting at about 12:30. Yeah. And we just get like 25 minutes of that, and then we've got to go home, and I'm kind of thinking, well, where else could this take us? So, mid to late 80s, Peter Cook would get very, very drunk, and he was very lonely. Even though he's married, he was quite lonely and morose. I think very bitter about Dudley Moore's success. And he'd get drunk, and he would phone up Clive Bull as Sven from Swiss Cottage, and it was delicious. I'm going to play you one. There's 7 of them. I've not heard all 7 for ages. I'm sort of going through them slowly. And I know Clive a bit, and he doesn't. I've emailed him to find out at what point throughout the 7 calls did he realise that it was actually Peter Cook that was phoning in. He's not got back to me, but I'm pretty confident for this first phone call, he knew it was someone doing a prank, but he didn't know who it was, right? And so if any of the pranksters are listening, just listen to this, right? It's charming. It's not mean. The presenter and the caller are both having fun. They both know they're talking nonsense, right? And there's a couple of really good gags in it. There's a great line. The theme is about him losing his wife going off. And there's a great line in another one that I won't play now, where he says, Sven says, I've come to the conclusion that my wife will not come back, but I'm feeling good about it. And Clive says, oh yeah, you sound like, you sound full of life, Sven. This is great. It says, yes, I'm grabbing life by the throat and I'm going to throttle it and then kick it to death. And it's just a great line. I'm grabbing life by the throat. I'm going to throttle it and then kick it to death. What a great line. So this is the first call, and this is delicious. Have a listen to this. Is the computer up? Oh, there we go. Why is it not playing? Computer. Play. Hang on a minute. What's going on? Oh, I know why. Hang on a minute. Tell you what, let's do a break. We'll come back to it after this.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
Right, so here we go. This is from, I don't know what year this is. I want to say mid to late 80s, but I don't know. So but it's about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, right? And this is Peter Cook phoning up Clive Bull. And Clive, I think, pretty sure for this entire first call, he knows it's a prank, right? But he doesn't know that it's Peter Cook. Have a listen to this. This is great. Here we go.
Yes.
Well, I think she should have some Manx cats. Them's the ones without the tails.
Ah, yes, that's a good idea. Thank you, Lorne.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sven in Swiss
Here we go.
Cottage.
Oh, hello, Mr. Bull.
Hello, Sven.
Yes, I'm only a visitor here from Norway, and I listen to the program and think one wonderful thing, because in Norway the phone-in is mainly devoted to subjects of, that, like fish.
Like fish?
Yes, we have a phone-in at 11 o'clock, that's Norway time.
Yes.
When people ring up for 1 hour, and the gist of it is things about, is a carp very big, or is a tench very big, or, and how big is a guppy.
Sounds very interesting.
It drags on and on all night. And it's so nice to come to this country and hear people talking about, Parliament and taking clothes off and singing. In Norway, all we get is this fish stuff going on and on.
Yes, I imagine it would begin to drag after a while.
Have you ever done a swap with Norway?
A swap with... Well, I'm not sure whether I want to inflict the fish upon my listeners.
Well, no, we have other things. It's only 11 to 12, the fish.
You have the fish hour.
phone-in.
The fish phone-in.
Fish hour. Fish hour.
We have been toying with the
running out
idea.
of fish.
I mean, fishing is very popular over here as well.
But not... Well, it's nice to go out and cast your flies on the water, but surely not listen to it every night, 11 to 12.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there has been a rumour about the place that LBC's going to start up a new fish wash service.
Washing the fish?
No, watch.
On the air?
Fish watch.
Fish watch?
Yes.
Well...
It's going to be a bit like the top 20 share check.
In Norway at the moment...
It's going to be sort of regular fish updates through the day.
Well, the carp is numero uno over there.
Yeah?
But it gets so every week it is number one. And we have this, sometimes, not only you have the live fish phone-ins,
yeah,
but you also have a lot of conversation later in the night with experts talking about tinned fish and frozen fish, and it is so nice to hear people talking about other things.
Well, I'm afraid we were talking about gefilte fish.
We have a whole gefilte hour in the afternoon.
Well, yes.
These are children's programs.
I think it's a very good idea, Sven.
But for 1 hour, all about gefilte, and how many times can you spell that? And we have little quizzes and games like, what is an anagram of gefilte? And nobody in Norway knows. We've tried so hard. Do you know one of that? Gefilte? How does that swap around?
Well, what's gefilte in Norwegian, anyway?
In Norwegian, gefilte is gefilte.
Oh, it's the same, is it?
Translation.
There's a lucky break, eh, Sven?
Well, I'm certainly...
So, it's very interesting.
I tell you once,
yes, Sven.
Probably silly of me to ask, but my wife, Jutta,
yes,
fled to London a week ago.
Fled? It's used the word fled.
Yes, either to get away from the fish phone-ins or otherwise to get away from me.
Yes, or both.
But she left a note saying, the fish and you are all I can bear.
Yeah.
And I wondered if you could, through your radio service, put out a message that if Jutta is fed up with the fish, well, that's fine. I'm a forgiving man. And if she's fed up with me, contact me through can I mention the name of the hotel?
Well, no, I'd rather you didn't. I think she'd better contact us, and we'll put the two of you in touch.
If you could, because she's a very tall woman.
Right. Okay, we'll all look out for her. Look out for a tall Jutta from the Swiss Cottage area. Sven, thank you very much indeed for telling us about the Norwegian phone-in programs.
Then listen to the next call.
Do sound awfully dull. What do you think about having a fish hour? What do you think, Madeline?
Oh, Clive.
Isn't it good? I love it, and it's just that wonderful. And there's 7 of those. They're on YouTube. And it's just little words he throws in. She fled to London. Who says fled?
My favourite bit was his, I'm a forgiving man.
And it's delicious. And he's not trying too hard. It's nice. I mean, Peter was a genius, an actual genius, so there's no denying that. But it's just that relaxed conversational thing. And he did it because he was bored. And he was probably at Rainbow George's house, his mate. And he was go on, phone up. All right then, yeah, I'll be Sven from just making it up off the spot. Wonderful. 0344 499 1000. If only we had a famous bored comedian that would phone this show, huh, guys? Turns to camera, looks. Evening, Pablo.
Hip hip hip.
Hip hip hip.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Oh, good, I'm knackered.
Why are you knackered, mate?
I've been running around that there London all day. I dropped £15.
Oh!
I've been looking all over.
Right, well.
I was hoping, I've been to every station, because they check the serial numbers and they call up the people that can check cash records.
What? I don't know. Mr. Lee, don't live here no more. I don't know what you're talking... Does anyone ever... If I lost... Imagine I lost £1,000, right? I still wouldn't go to a police station, because... Why would you go to a police station?
Well, I know when I was a teenager, we found some travellers' cheques, quite a large amount of money in travellers' cheques, all written out in a German name.
Yes.
And we did try and work out different ways in which we could potentially procure them, but we ended up handing them in at the police station because we were good boys, really.
I don't really know. And I've never understood this. And even when I went on a holiday abroad with my family as a kid once, and we had travellers' checks, I don't really know what a travellers' check is, where you can use it. It's supposed to be like a safe way of having money, but it's not money. It's like a really old-fashioned version of a really old-fashioned thing.
Well, it's like a cash check, that's the equivalent, but it's basically for the exact reason that you're saying, that if somebody loses it, then it's all insured and you can get it straight back, unlike real money.
Or you just keep your wallet in your pocket.
Well, no, don't you remember when I was a kid and you went to Spain? They used to always be saying...
I didn't go to Spain with you as a kid. Why would I remember
this?
But
they used to always be saying, you be careful because you get robbed. People were getting robbed a lot more, it seemed, back then.
No, they weren't.
Like people going past on scooters and nicking your handbag. Yeah, it happened.
You were bought into the MM's mainstream media, mainstream's one word.
I don't think the mainstream media existed
in the 1980s. Of course it did. It was all
Freddie
Freddie Laker and stuff, wasn't it? Freddie Laker?
Sorry?
You don't know who Freddie Laker is?
No.
It was nothing to do with the media, actually, but...
Who's Freddie Laker?
It's just a name that popped in. You know who Freddie Laker is, don't you, Pablo?
Not... Is he a basketball player?
Okay, this is the quiz. The phone-in quiz tonight is, who was Freddie Laker? 0344 499 1000. It's a good question, that. Freddie Laker. I remember that name. Big name. I wonder if Freddie Laker... is Freddie Laker still alive? We don't know who he is. Let's find out who he is first for you, Catherine, and then we'll find out if Freddie Laker's still alive. I reckon Freddie Laker must have died, I'm going to say 1999.
Well, you're saying a lot of words altogether, and none of them are interesting me.
Let's start, guys. Call in. Who was Freddie Laker? Let's put Kath out of her misery. I don't mean like that. Although, 0344 499 1000. Anything else, Pablo?
Yeah, well, it was just in regards to the...
my finger went to the screen to cut you off then, because it was such a long silence. I touched... To cut someone off, I have to touch the screen twice. I made the first touch.
And then you did go, no. I thought you meant no.
Yeah, the first touch was made. The first touch is the deepest. Oh, that sounds...
As I'm doing now, I didn't want to do that. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, it's gone. Because that, let's be honest, that was just rambling at the end there. Can I just say, last week, so many phone calls. Week before, shed loads of phone calls. You come back, not many phone calls. And I'm being flippant, but I'm also being serious. I do wonder, and I like having you in the studio, but I do wonder if people... I'm not doing a piece now. This is a genuine thing. And we're having a production meeting on air. That's all we're doing.
I know what's coming. I'm not bothered. I'll play it.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm asking you for your thoughts. For Christ's sake. Jesus Christ's sake.
Please don't take the name of the Lord in vain.
Okie dokie.
Because you know what will happen.
For the love of Allah.
No.
Okay.
Especially not that one.
Oh, especially not that one. Oh, you left-wing liberal elite. Why not? Why not that one? I wonder if people feel less inclined to phone in if they hear us having a conversation.
Because we're fascinating.
We're so entertaining. It's honestly, it's like behind the scenes with
Peter
Lewis and
Ustinov
Martin.
Yeah. Well, double Ustinov.
Double Ustinov. I do wonder if people feel less inclined to call in.
Well,
when it's us chitty chatting.
I wasn't on it at all yesterday, and you only had 3 callers.
Well, no, but that was the point of the show that we did yesterday.
I don't mind. I'll go if you want.
I'm not saying I want you to go. I do want you to go and make a cup of coffee. But that can wait until we hit the top of the hour. I hate that phrase. And I find myself saying top of the hour more and more. Because I'm working on Virgin and I feel like I've got to be a music DJ when I'm on Virgin. Ian's on the line. Good evening, Ian.
Good evening, Ian, again.
Good evening, Ian, again, yes. One more Ian and it's the end of the world. 2 we can cope with.
The end of the world. What makes you think it's the end of the world?
If it was a light-hearted reference that I believe that if 3 Ians get together, then something... It's like if you go back in time, you can't touch yourself because it will create a paradox. And
I wish you wouldn't touch yourself now.
Well, but if I went back in time, Ian... All right. People say, where would you go if you had a time machine? Where would you go? The 1,000 years into the future. Where would you go in if you had a time machine? Where would you go?
I think I would go into the future.
When?
When?
When in the future?
Let me say 50 years from now.
Why 50 years? If you're going to do it, go 5,000 years.
Well, I did watch the film The Time Machine, which was a fabulous movie.
Yes.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I thought it was quite inspiring.
Okay.
It went a bit wrong, though, didn't it? The monsters getting them and stuff.
It all worked out in the end, I think. If I went back... Go on, Ian.
Yes, it does work out in the end quite successfully.
Spoiler alert, but I don't know if you can spoil a 60-year-old movie. If I had a time machine, do you know when I'd go back to? I'd go back to last week when my family were away, and I'd go and make love to me.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I would. I'd go and I'd come out, I'd be in the bedroom as I came out of the shower, and I'd say, don't be scared, right? It's me. It's us. It's you. Listen, I got a time machine, and this sounds crazy now, but in a week's time, you're going to be talking about this on the air, and it will all make sense. We're going to make love.
Have you seen The Time Traveller's Wife?
Oh, what a load of old rubbish that was. I went to the pictures to see that.
I've seen that.
I loved it.
I'm watching a film online called Rewind, and it's a TV movie. And I don't know what happens, but all I've seen is the first 10 minutes, and they found a bomb that's going to blow up 9 million people, but it's a terrorist, but it's like a scientist terrorist, and they've gone through his notebook, and they found pictures of wormholes, and they're talking about his dead wife. So he's obviously made a time machine so he can go back and meet his dead wife and make love to her. But I don't quite know what I loved... Have you seen a film, Ian, called Time Crimes?
No, I didn't see that one.
What's the Spanish title?
Homos Chronologicos or something. Chronos Homosexualis, that's it. Chronos Homosexualis. It is
no, I didn't see that.
Bloody good. Anyway, Ian, what have you called in for, buddy?
Right, I've called in to let you know that I know who Freddie Laker was.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. We've got a thrusting young teenager on the line. Would you educate my partner in crime, Catherine Boyle, please, Ian?
Absolutely. Freddie Laker ran an airline called Laker Air.
Yep.
And he unfortunately was unsuccessful because he was up against the top
No, this is why he was unsuccessful, Ian, right? It was at a time when air travel was, in early 80s, was incredibly expensive, right? To fly to America cost a fortune. So he set up the first budget airline and said, right, I'll fly to America 50 quid. Right?
Absolutely.
And, of course, he went bust because it was a ridiculous offer because it cost way... He lost... So we now know who Freddie Laker is.
Bad Stelios.
He's bad Stelios, early Stelios. Do we know, Ian, if Mr. Laker is still alive?
I've got no idea, I'm afraid, Ian.
OK, well, the investigation continues. Thank you for that, man.
OK, thank you.
Thank you, Ian. Let's go to Cleo. Good evening, Cleo.
Hello, Ian. How are you doing?
Good, thank you, mate. What you got for us?
Freddie Laker.
Yes.
Indeed.
Is he... Go on.
2006.
2006, we lost Freddie 11 years ago. Imagine not knowing who Freddie Laker is, Cleo.
I know, and I'm not really that old, but I am a bit of an airplane nerd, you see, so I like the airliner stuff.
Thank you for on that bad news, Cleo. Not that you're an airplane lover, but that Freddie Laker is no longer with us. Look at that. We don't have any calls for ages. Then we get two, and I just get rid of them in 30 seconds.
This is the problem.
I think that might be the problem. I don't know how to host a phone-in show. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. My name is Iain Lee. That's Catherine Boyle. This is the Late Night Alternative. You're listening to Talk Radio.
Talk Radio.
If you want to watch the show and get all the behind-the-scenes gossip, go to periscope.tv/Iain Lee. This is Talk Radio.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
We have ways of making you talk.
I was going to play a song, but I couldn't find one that fitted the vibe of the show, so... Sans musique. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, we're getting new listeners all the time, and it should be stressed, dear listener, you can call in about absolutely anything. Me and Kath will sit here and we'll chat absolute balls throughout the entire evening. But, you can call in about anything you want, and we tend not to bring up the heavier issues ourselves, but if you want to, you're more than welcome to. At midnight, we've got Anne Moses coming on, who used to edit a teen magazine in America in the 1960s and was friends with Elvis and was going out with the Bee Gee and all kinds of stuff. She's brilliant, absolutely fabulous. The book is superb. I'll get you the name of the book in a little bit. 0344 499 1000 is the phone number. Stuff we've talked about so far in the first hour of the show includes Freddie Laker, cheap flights, being robbed in Spain. What else have we talked? We've talked about other things. I'm sure we have. I just don't remember it. If I'm honest, I don't really pay attention to the show and what goes on. Indian summers and the the mainstream media. Why do all the alt-right call it MSM? Mainstream is one word, guys. It's one word. It's MM. That's how we do it around here. That's how we do it around here. But the big story of the day, where have I put the star there? Oh, there comes a cup of decaffeinated coffee. So here's my life at the moment. Losing weight, so I have like an omelette and then maybe a low-calorie sandwich and an apple. Or today I treated myself and had a chicken fillet, some spinach and some broccoli. Then later on an apple and a low-calorie sandwich. I'll treat myself tonight and have a couple of slices of toast when I get in. That's naughty. And I've given up caffeine, so now I'm on decaffeinated coffee. Man alive, there is very, very little pleasure in my life. Oh, there's a picture of Kelly Brook with her bikini pulled right up her jacket.
That is a thing, right? That's something I noticed a lot in Greece, right?
Yes.
And you see it in the newspapers, and
Yes.
it's suddenly more shocking when you see it in real life.
Yes.
Loads of women with their bikini bottoms hiked right up like a self-imposed wedgie. That apparently is attractive these days. I spend all my time trying to keep my bikini bottoms out of that particular crevice.
Really? That's the thing now. Why would you do that? I mean, it's got to be, A, it's got to be uncomfortable, B, it's got to be unhygienic.
I always call it a hungry bum, it's eating your pants. Why would you want that?
Hungry bum, you gotta have a hungry bum. It's a genuine thing, right? Can you phone in and let me know?
If you've got a hungry bum.
Are you less likely to call in if Catherine is in the studio, and I'm not making it into a thing. You're making it into a thing. I don't know because
This is a flawed plan.
Pourquoi?
Because you're asking people to call in if they're less likely to call in if I'm here.
The word in Greek for what is yati? The word in Greek, I think I've got this right, Greek lovers. I don't mean like that, that's the thing, isn't it? For but is yati.
Oh.
It's the same word. I don't know if it is but I used to do a great joke, and none of the Greeks got it, right? I used to say, the word for tomato in Greek is stomata. And I used to go up to them and go, what's stomata? And they go...
Is it tomato?
No, they'd say, yeah, it's a tomato. And I say, no, what's the matter with you? Why you looking so sad?
Oh.
And no one laughed at that. You try doing jokes in foreign languages, not you. You're fluent in several of them. But you, dear listener, you try doing jokes in foreign languages. I used to be able to make, when I was in Pakistan, used to, I can sing a couple of Pakistan hits, Indian hits as well. By just a subtle change of one word, you make it into a filthy song. It's great news. So, 0344 499 1000, if you can make a joke in a foreign language, and if you are less reluctant to call, if you are more likely to call in, if you are, split the difference, if you are less likely to call in, if it's me and Kath chatting. Because I don't know, I genuinely don't know. I don't. Stephen's called in. Steve?
Yes.
Are you less likely to call in if Catherine's in the studio with me?
Right. I can only explain from my point of view. That's what I can do.
Yeah, exactly. All right, mate.
I've listened to you since the day you done Dr. Sue.
Dr. Sue?
On the Saturday.
I didn't... you heard me do Dr. Sue? Was that broadcast? I thought that was a private... Oh, you mean when I filled in Dr. Pam?
Yeah, Dr. Pat, sorry.
Yeah, yes. Okay. Even when the name said, yes, she was, yes.
Sorry, I'm not great.
She was refereeing a bukkake party, I seem to remember that night, yeah.
Yes, it was, so you got my attention then.
Oh.
And I've tuned into Talk Radio since.
Are you a big fan of Dr. Pat then?
Not really, no. It was just something, I was just tuning through the station.
It just came up?
That's all.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it just... So anyway,
yes.
the question is, am I more likely or less likely? I think you're brilliant. Like I said, I've listened to you since that Saturday.
I feel a yachty coming on.
But...
There it is.
Kath has to be there.
No, and this is great. And I'm glad we can discuss this like adults with the egos outside. Why?
I don't know. The last week or so is it's been good. I can't say it's been bad.
No, well,
it's been good, but it just needs that little Kath twist,
Little Kath twist. What is? Can you describe what a little Kath twist looks like?
I don't know.
What it is? No.
I've watched you on everywhere. I've watched you.
Sorry.
Periscope and
okay, I thought you meant stalking.
YouTube and stuff.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, with a telescope. You mean a periscope?
But I just think she's... I don't want to sound sexist, and I really don't want to upset Kath, but she's sort of 30% of the show.
30%? I'm happy with those stats. I'm happy with those stats, that Kath is but 30%... of the show. I'm happy with those stats, Kath. You happy with those stats?
I'm happy.
Okay, we're good stats. All right. I'm just thinking out loud, Paul, because Stephen, sorry, because last week we had loads of calls. Kath comes back, we don't get no call. I just wonder, But I'm also aware it's summer and people are away on holidays. It's probably the last week of the summer holidays for a lot of people. And when do your kids go back, Kath? Next week?
Week after, I think.
Oh, we go back next week?
We got the school shoes over the weekend. Flipping heck, that was an ordeal.
Taking the boys for a haircut Saturday. They go back next week. Boom, have it. That's summer done. Next. Well, thank you. So, I'm glad you found us, Stephen, and I'm glad you keep listening, and I appreciate your input.
Well, I mean, The percentage may change over the weeks. It depends how good Kath is, doesn't it?
Have you found anybody to share the train with you from Brighton up to our had/tag/it game this coming Sunday?
On Sunday? No, I haven't.
Hang on a minute. You sounded surprised about the had/tag/it game, but didn't you phone in the other week saying you were coming?
Absolutely, I'm coming, yes.
Yeah, but you sounded surprised when I said on Sunday, and you went, on Sunday?
No, I'm well aware it's on Sunday, Sunday the 3rd.
Catherine, who's 30% of the show, I'll let you have 30% of this conversation. What did he say? There we go. Well, have you found anyone to share the train ride with you yet?
No, I'm such a sad, lonely person. I've just got to come on my own.
Oh, again, that's...
I'm looking forward to it.
Nice one, mate. I'm looking forward to meeting you, Stephen. Thanks for the call, buddy.
All right, mate.
Take care. Ta-ta. Let's go to Paul. Evening, Paul.
Yo, yo, yo.
Hey.
Hey, Kath.
Oh, here we go. It's your boyfriend. Your boyfriend's on the line. Kath, your boyfriend's on the line.
Oh, the kids these days...
Try this for an experiment. Why don't Iain leave the studio and see how many calls we get?
Yeah, no, but how many can go to air? Flipping it.
Yeah, true.
And then we go.
There is... I do wonder... I used to work with... when I was at another radio station years and years ago, before I considered doing radio properly, I worked with a young lady called Natasha, who's brilliant, and I've recently got back in touch with her. The wonder of the social networking. We tweet each other from time to time, and I saw her for the first time in years and years and years. Not true, actually. She came to one of my live shows, but I saw her at the Beach Boys show. We were both there, and it was one of those things where we were tweeting each other, going, "Where are? Oh, there you are." We waved and stuff like that. And she used to be a DJ at this. She was really good. She used to be a DJ at this place, and she's got quite a husky voice, kind of Mariella Frostrop style huskiness as a shorthand. And the boss of that station basically wanted her to do a late night dirty show. It was XFM, right? So he was playing all kinds of alternative music and stuff, but then wanted her to come on between the records and talk a little bit dirty and be a little bit blue and be a little bit
good at it.
mucky, yeah. And then go, and now here's the new one from Placebo, and all that. And I think it was quite successful. And there isn't. It makes sense. It makes sense to have, one for a lady doing it for men. I mean, it would primarily be men. You could also have a gay bloke doing it, or a bloke doing it for blokes as well. I don't think women would get the same kind of... I don't imagine that many women phone up sex chat lines. I imagine that I'm going to pluck a figure out of the air. 90% of the calls are made by men. Mm-hmm. There we go. Because men get turned on and women get turned on different ways. But I would have thought there would have been more. Someone would have done more of that. A through the night show where it's just someone purring.
Oh, man.
Talking like you'd like that, Paul, wouldn't you? You'd listen to that.
Yeah.
Of course you would. I'd listen to it.
If they paid me enough, I'd have a go at it myself.
Well, would you go on then, Paul? Let's hear it.
Oh, good evening. You're through to Talk Radio.
You sound like who was the woman from To the Manor Born? Penelope Keith. You sound like Penny Keith. That's awful, Paul.
It needs work. I'll give you that.
It does need work, Paul. Thank you very much.
So what you're talking about is setting up sort of a radio version of Babe Station.
I think I am.
Yeah, actually, do you know what? I'm surprised the Daily Star hasn't done that.
I'm surprised Ear hasn't done it. Do you know who owns us? I'm surprised they haven't done it. But genuinely, here's the thing. I do think radio between 1 and 5 at night is up for grabs. Yeah. I think it's up for grabs because what they put out on the BBC networks, national and local, is turgid, right? The other speech station, I find it as dull as and as limp as. Obviously, they get big audiences, but I find it limp, right? So overnight radio is completely up for grabs. And you know, I know we're doing this radio lock-in, but for a while, I was seriously considering offering up, saying to the boss, I'll swap. I'll do 1 till 5, and honestly, it was in my head. I've gone against that idea now because it will make life with the kids and stuff quite difficult. But it's still in the back of my head. It's the only slot I've not done. I wouldn't mind a crack at doing through the night radio for a bit. When the kids are a bit older and, things are a bit different, I wouldn't mind a crack at that, because I just think it's up for grabs. There's nothing. And having someone purring, not me, I imagine it would be someone with a husky voice, purring to the radio. So, radio, you can...
Well, they do that in America.
Yeah, of course.
You listen to late night radio in America.
Yeah.
I remember hearing this one woman, where were we?
Yep.
Florida, I think. And we were driving after about 11:30, so around this time of night.
Yeah.
And she talked very much like that. It was like, if you want to call me, it was all that kind of thing. And I thought, flipping it,
Yeah.
this is hot stuff. And I'm a heterosexual female, and I can see that pushes buttons.
And it doesn't necessarily... The mistake I think that some people might make listening to this, he said, being careful not to, slag off anybody who works here, is it doesn't necessarily need to... The phone calls don't need to be sexual. They can be, but they don't need to be... They don't need to be sexual problems.
Mm-hmm.
It can be about anything, but the host is just talking... Imagine this, at 3:30 in the morning, right? You're lonely, you've woken up. 3:30 is when most suicides happen, because you're just faced with the bleakness of your life, and it's overwhelming, and generally you can't do anything about it at 3:30. And at 3:30, everyone's a little bit crazy. But actually you could switch on the radio and there's just someone who's talking in a voice like that.
You're discussing Midnight Caller, really, aren't you?
Well, but yeah, maybe.
And that's what they've been doing in the US for years.
Yeah, I really hope, right, and we've got some calls. Stephen and Jonathan, I'll come to you in a bit, I promise. I really hope Talk Radio gets a fair crack of the... Crap, there's a Freudian slip. I hope Talk Radio gets a fair crack of the whip. It would. I was just thinking it would make so much difference. And I know we're not, and we're never going to be, because we're a DAB station, and that's great. But if we were on FM, I bought... For this performance piece I'm doing, Lights Out, performance art piece, right, I play the radio. I was looking at loads of old chunky radios. But actually, the thing that's more important, these old Roberts R707s and Yacht Boy, there's one called a Yacht Boy, and it was a Russian one as well. And you can get them, not the Yacht Boys, they're a fortune, but they look stunning. And I thought the thing that's more important is range. I want a radio that's really range. So I bought this brilliant little Chinese radio that a geek online recommended to me. And it's a knockoff of a much more expensive radio, but it's got all the same insides. And so I've been listening to it, and it hasn't got DAB on it. It's got FM, it's got medium wave, long wave, and it's got about 4 shortwave kind of bands. I don't know what they are. And I was listening to shortwave, and it was brilliant. And then I went to FM and listened to stations that I normally listen to on my phone or on DAB in my car. And the FM signal is nowhere near as clear as the DAB. I tell you something, it's a lot richer. It's a lot richer, and the signal flickers and all of that, but it's warmer. It's warmer, that's the word.
It's like listening to a record rather than a CD.
Yeah. It really was. And I was listening to some stations that I would normally listen to on DAB. And it felt exciting.
But is that because that's how you discovered radio? Because I was just thinking, while you're talking about sort of scanning across.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, and I'm talking sort of 14, 15 and upwards, I was one of the sort of kids who, in the night, to go to sleep, I'd put the radio on.
Yep.
And that's how I found James Whale and Tommy Boyd and all these people.
Yep.
And I remember also finding a local radio station, one we ended up working at, when it was Radio Bedfordshire. They used to have a problem line, and it was unintentionally hilarious. But it was that feeling of stumbling across something and then being part of this little sort of knowing club in the middle of the night when no one else is listening, everyone else is asleep, your parents are asleep. There was just some magic about that.
Very quickly, we're going to go to a break and then we'll come back. We've got Jonathan, we've got Steve. I should say that I am doing a performance art piece, Lights Out. It's in North London on Saturday the 23rd of September, I think. Basically, you come and sit or lie down in a room, we take complete blackout, and I play the radio for about 45 minutes to an hour. We'll see how it goes. If you want tickets, there are still, surprisingly, quite a few tickets left. It's a tenner, ticketsource.co.uk/Iain, IAIN -Lee. Ticketsource.co.uk/Iain-Lee. Or follow me on Twitter, @IainLee. This is the Late Night Alternative. This is Talk Radio.
The radio show for people who know the best part of the day is the night.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio. We'll get you talking.
0344 499 1000. Let's go to Jonathan. Evening, Jonathan.
Evening, Ian.
Hey, man, what you got?
Do you remember an old video game from the 1980s called Elite?
Now, yes, I do. I had it on the BBC Micro. It was the greatest game ever made. I helped the crowdfunding for the Elite Dangerous reboot that was done recently. I downloaded it for my Mac. I couldn't get to grips with it. The week that my family were away, I downloaded Elite Dangerous on my Xbox because someone had told me it was great. I couldn't get past the second training level. The second training level I could not get past.
Well, I've always wanted to play one of the Elite games. Perhaps if they bring out a physical version for the Nintendo Switch, I might get it.
Oh, that would be super sexy. Have you never played it?
No, never played any of them.
Oh, man, it was great on the BBC, and I always said they should bring out... we're geeking out for a bit, don't worry. I always said they should bring out a massively multi-player online version of it, and then they did, and then I can't get past the second training level. What an absolute dunce I am.
Well, I hear there's a bit of a dark side to Elite Dangerous as well.
Oh, yeah, of course there is. You can trade in slaves and narcotics.
No, it's even worse than that.
Oh?
I know for a fact
yes,
that at least 2 neo-Nazis play Elite Dangerous online.
Wowzers. I'm surprised it's not more than that.
Yeah, I don't want to go online and play video games with neo-Nazis, and I think that the developers of Elite Dangerous need to get rid of all the neo-Nazis on their servers and registered with them, because hate has no place in video games. Video games are meant to bring us together.
I'm going to be honest. This call has taken a surprising twist.
So yeah, I would very much like to play Elite, especially one of the older versions.
Only when all the other Nazis are gone.
I don't want to play a version of Elite that allows Nazis to play it.
Well, there's a paradox. That means you wouldn't be able to play it.
Well, there are older versions that are offline, one player. There was I do remember about 25 years ago, there were screenshots in a infamous video game magazine that claimed that Elite was being ported to the Super Nintendo using the Super FX chip.
I thought it was I thought there was a version on the Nintendo, wasn't there?
On the NES, yes, but not on the Super Nintendo.
I'm going to come out and ask it, because I feel we have a relationship, Jonathan, where I can ask you something, and if you don't want to answer it, you can tell me, and that's absolutely fine. What the hell is going on with you, man? You've changed.
I haven't changed.
Well,
I've always been like this.
But in some of your previous communications with the show, you have portrayed yourself as being very hateful.
I'm not hateful. I just get very frustrated with...
Well, you called yourself a misanthrope.
Yeah.
That means you hate everybody.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite hateful, to hate everybody.
Yeah, it is, but I don't go around putting people in gas chambers or trying to shut them up. Which I think is really evil. And
I would agree.
I've come, and I have an acquaintance of mine who's been in the media a lot recently, and he was kicked off of OkCupid for his political and personal views, not for actually breaking any rules on the website.
No, okay.
And I just think, well, since we are using fascism to combat fascism, perhaps that should be applied to neo-Nazis who play Elite Dangerous.
I'm going to ask you...
I want to prove a point to these Nazi hypocrites that you cannot fight fascism with fascism, because all you will create is more fascism, and we've seen that over the last few weeks.
Can I ask you two more questions that you might consider too personal?
Go ahead.
Are you... Has this apparent change, although you deny it's a change, in your... in what you are saying, are you being investigated by the police?
No.
Are you on new medication?
No.
Okay.
I'm not on any medication.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you for answering those. You didn't have to, and I appreciate the fact that you did. It's always, it's not always a pleasure to talk to you, Jonathan, but I feel you bring a little life to what can sometimes be a flaccid show when you call in. So thank you.
No problem.
Cheers, my dears. Ta-ta. See what happens when you can't go away again, Kathy. See what happens. Evening, Steve.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, 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 Steve.
Official team member.
There we go.
But I don't just phone in when Kath's back. Hi, welcome back, Kath.
Thank you.
I phoned in on Friday.
Yeah.
Which was nice.
Yeah, well, I'll be the judge of that.
I just wanted to talk about the show last night with people phoning in for an hour.
Oh, yeah, for those who missed it, as people do, because it's a bank holiday, we had... I'm not sure if we'll do it again, but we had 3 hours, and we had one call per hour, and they were all... I found it fascinating. I thought they were all very different and very fascinating. Yeah, go on, what did you think?
Yeah, I've got a pretty short attention span, but I thought it was really good. Well, the first guy, the Scottish guy, I mean, he was quite nice because he was talking about my call. He said like it was really interesting that. But
you were right, okay, I got it. He was referencing your call.
You know,
I've got it.
Sort of,
yes.
The radio show's me friend type of thing, and Mark Ruffalo and all that sort of stuff.
I couldn't quite join the dots there because I have a terrible memory for calls because I take, sometimes 30, 40 calls a night. But, okay, I've got it now, yes.
But he said, oh, it was a really great call, but he let himself, not on mine, I'm not just splitting hairs, I suppose, but he said, no, just, at the end he said that, what was it, the only thing I let myself down with was when I said that it's a bit sad to have a radio show as a friend, but that's kind of, the only reason I mention it is because that's the opposite of what I said.
Right.
I said it was great to have a radio show as a friend as opposed to rubbish friends.
I don't know if you listened to the whole lot of his call, but he got quite a few things a bit wrong. So I won't worry about it.
Have you been fretting about this, Steve?
No. I thought it was quite funny.
Yeah.
To, be Chris, to say, because he was really sort of flattering what he said. It was just that when he said, but the bit where, at the end, it was just what he said I'd said was the opposite.
Okay. Well, we're always happy to clarify, Steve.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But I also found
Sarah. One or two there. Yep, Sarah.
Sarah, really fascinating. Just when she was on about, ex-husband.
Yep.
Running off with a groupie.
Mm. You're not the groupie, are you, Steve?
No, I'm not the groupie. I'm not the groupie.
That would be a twist, wouldn't it?
But I don't know. I just thought, when she was talking about, all the debt he left her in and all this sort of stuff. I mean, obviously this is just her side, but I don't know. I just believed that what she was saying. But I think some people might have interpreted. Well, some people may interpret it that she was bothered about the money or the fact he ran off with that. But I think, from my opinion,
your interpretation was...
My interpretation was that it was when she said that this woman is completely... You can't negotiate with her, and she was now in the middle of arguing with Sarah's mother.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking that's probably the thing that she's most annoyed about now, because if, I don't know, with relationships, you end up with these exes who are suddenly in your life.
I just think, I know kids are involved, but 6 years down the line, there was it's a really interesting Sarah's call. I was going to say enjoyed, and that's perhaps the wrong word, and she revealed a lot, and I'm really grateful of it. I would like to think that 6 years down the line from a divorce, even if the other person was being a dick or whatever, we don't know. I take her word. I totally take her word for it. I don't think she was lying. That 6 years down the line, holding on to that amount of resentment and anger, that can't be healthy physically or mentally or spiritually. It can't be healthy.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying is I don't think I think she's obviously still upset about it and all that, because it left her in financial trouble with the kids and all that, and she said that his attitude towards the kids was just like loving but not supportive financially and all this sort of thing. But that what I mean is,
yes,
I think she's probably let all that go.
Yeah. No.
And the main.
Do you think? I didn't get that at all. I think she spoke very angrily about him.
Yeah, but I mean, in the present day, I think the thing that came across to me that probably most annoying is she said that he's quite easily led.
Right.
So this woman is wearing the shoes in this relationship.
I tell you,
and you can't negotiate with her.
I tell you what, I found most interesting from doing the show yesterday, and when we did it before, is how everybody, when it's a story like that, Sarah's and Mark's and David at the start, everybody has their own interpretation. Everybody hears slightly different things, and that may be because of the way they were brought up. It may be because of a past relationship. It may be because of what's happening to them at that very second in their lives. But everybody hears slightly different things. Steve, we're out of time. Thank you very much, mate. I tell you what, I need to wee so much my stomach hurts. But I've got to hold it until the top of the hour. This is Talk Radio.
The late night alternative with that man, Iain Lee. There's no strangers here, just friends you haven't stalked on Facebook yet.
Have never sent my picture to anyone who didn't request it.
The late night alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Yes.
I love it. I love those jingles. Bad news, guys. It was this weekend just gone, the Agatha festival, which is basically, it was 3 days in America. It was a conference, not festival, conference hosted by a dude that had lived in the underground city for centuries. But
sadly, although we got in touch with them about 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And then there was a flurry of there was 2 emails.
Well, they sent us our press passes.
Yes.
It was in America.
Yeah. And then said, the ambassador, that is what he calls himself, will speak to you, but we'd need the questions in advance, and we're going through an interpreter. Is this okay? I said, it's absolutely fine.
Yeah, and they didn't get back.
No, disappeared.
Hey, almost as if, I don't know, the concept of people living underground for centuries is bullshine. We'll try. I'll send them an email tomorrow. I'm pottering around tomorrow. Hey, got good. Tomorrow night before the show, we're going to go and see Norina Palo in concert. How exciting is that? Managed to blag some tickets. Then Friday, we're off to see Neil Hamburger and Tim Heidecker. We're living a very cultural life. Honestly, I need to wee so much. My stomach is in agony.
Yeah, but it's going to be bliss when it comes out.
Yeah, it will be. I'm weeing a lot because because I'm old, I suppose. Can I have my bit of paper back if you're not going to write that name down?
Can't find it.
Find it.
Oh, well.
Who's being rude about me on Twitter now?
Oh, everyone.
No, well, someone said they would like to call in.
Can't find him.
Cameron? No.
No, someone with a blue tick, but who reckons they're some sort of columnist, but I've never heard them before. Just goes to show that everyone, apart from me, can get a blue tick on Twitter.
Well, there's a guy here who's not got a blue tick, but he's a freelance journalist. After weeks of voting, we've narrowed it down to the final 4. Who is the most hated user on Twitter? And he's replied, I wonder if Iain Lee is the second most hated behind Trump. Oh, Brad the Lad Long.
Yeah, that one. Who's that?
Let's have a little look-see. If I could speak right now, I'd love to call Can't Stand Iain Lee. Let's have a little look.
And he retweeted himself, which is a sign of a successful person.
Brad the Lad Long, Who is this guy? He's got 14,000 followers. They're pretty expensive followers, though.
Yeah.
Media personality, columnist. Oh, most known for telling it like it is.
Yeah. I read him telling it like it is. He really does.
What? And you muted him and didn't block him? That's interesting.
No, I don't want to give him satisfaction.
I'm going to block him.
Really?
I'm going to reply. Call in, mate. Would love to chat! ! There we go. Burn. That's destroyed him.
Yeah.
That has destroyed him. Thing is, they give blue ticks to anybody except you.
Except me.
I've never seen anybody so desperate for technically the ticks are white. So desperate for a blue tick.
I'm not desperate for one, but I'm just wondering what the criterion is.
Because they do give it to any old Tom, Dick and Abdul.
This case in point.
They do, but
I seem to have been blackballed.
Oh.
It's fine. To tell you what I'm going to do, if they ever do give me a blue, I'm going to chuck it back at them. Like an OBE.
Yep, well. These things...
That's what I'm going to do.
These things happen.
It's like, do you remember that lad that asked me out at school? And
no, I don't, Catherine.
I told you about him.
Second time you've referenced a story about you as a child and asking if I remember it.
I told you the story, and I pay attention to your stories.
I am not your father, Luke.
Well, listen. There was a lad at school, Richard.
Listen to this, John. It's going to be good.
He asked me out. Okay. He asked me out, and I was an awkward child. My teeth have always been this big, but my face hasn't.
Yeah.
And, and I read books, and I didn't have any chest. So all those three things counted against me. Oh, and I had a funny voice. So, 4 things. Anyway, so this lad asked me out, and I was thrilled to bits, and I wrote it in my diary. The only reason I remember this is because I wrote it in my diary, and I found my diary last year, and it was in there, and it was like, the day that it happened, it was like, I can't believe it, he's brilliant. Oh, yes. I've got a boyfriend, finally. The next day, it was all a joke.
Oh.
And he embarrassed me in front of everyone. Well, last year...
Is this story going in?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is what I'm going to do to the blue tick.
Yeah.
Last year, he tried to add me on Facebook.
Yeah.
So, I accepted, and then I declined.
What do you mean you accepted and then you declined?
Well, it's like asking him out and then saying it was a joke. So I let...
But you can't accept and decline. You either accept or you decline.
And then
delete.
And then unfriended.
Right, okay. Well, so your story... First of all, I think this is a made-up story because
you've
used incorrect terminology.
Well, this is another reason I wasn't popular
I accepted and then declined. You should have accepted it. You should have sent him a message... asking if he wanted to meet for a blowy, and then you should have. I mean, it's a gamble because he might say, "Oh, get stuffed."
He might have said, "Jen, it was a joke," and they're all standing there.
Yeah. Oh, steady. Anyway, John.
Hip, hip, hip.
Hip, 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 John.
What type of cake? I was calling up for a number of things. You do a new thing called Truth Rabbit Hole.
Right, John. What the hell is going on with your telephone?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, kind of.
Any better now?
Kind of.
It's the same.
Is it? Oh, I had a really good point to make.
You're not the guy that used to phone me about water, are you?
No, I'm the guy who's phoned you about OCD and Michael Jackson.
About what on Michael Jackson?
Obsessive compulsive disorder.
Right. Oh yeah. Okay. But you didn't used to phone me years ago about water.
No, I used to call you years ago when you had a Welsh producer on another radio station, and I used to get you and myself into trouble for doing extensive impressions of Michael Jackson, which breached some sort of copyright.
Okay. Well, and he's dead now, so he can't sue me.
No, and you also once got me confused with Nasty Adam, but anyway, let's move on.
Okay, that was a man who was going to train to be a dentist just so he could extract my teeth in the most painful way possible. That's what he's going to do. He's going to train to be a dentist to get revenge. Anyway, John, go on. You've called in.
Surely there's no point training for that.
No, not at all.
Painful.
Go on, John.
3.5 views on YouTube, that video now. But look, I went to see Eminem this weekend.
How's he doing? Is he all right?
Oh, it was great. Yeah, it was at the Reading Festival.
Yes.
And I thought of you during it.
Of course.
And
we look very similar.
No, not because he's got a beard now.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. But I was thinking of, sort of redemption, performance, forgiveness, getting through adversity. And I was thinking of how great it would be if someone like yourself would be able to facilitate a platform where really big stars, you've probably done this as a showbiz type, where really big stars give intimate performances, because I had got quite near the stage and it was more of an eclectic crowd than I thought it would be.
Yes. Using a lot of long words. I'm going to have to get a dictionary at the end of this.
Sorry, no, I've only used one long word, haven't I?
Several. Okay, but go on.
So, it's my street roots coming out. But, yeah, no, I was just thinking it was that there's so much that could, people sort of like you, myself, Big Nasty, that blonde girl from Fresh Meat, do you remember, with Jack Whitehall? If we were given more chances on sort of mainstream TV and radio, in particular, I was thinking 2 words, Eminem Orchestra.
Eminem and an orchestra. You want me to put on a gig with Eminem and an orchestra?
Think about it, a Philharmonic, Eminem, and an intimate venue, because the one thing...
It can't be that intimate, because orchestras have got about 60 people in them. Hello, John?
Hello?
Yes? It can't be that intimate. I can't believe it can't be that intimate, because the orchestra's 60 people.
Yes. 75?
80.
No, I'll tell you why. Because I've made a point of trying to see everyone on my bookshelf who is not dead. So, for example, I have seen Russell Brand in a very intimate venue.
Yes.
I've seen Ricky Gervais. I've yet to see you. I'm going to see you.
Oh, hang on a minute. Where are you going to see me?
Oh, at one of your little comedy shindigs, probably.
Oh, okay. You haven't chosen an event yet. Please give me a month's notice.
No, come on.
Yes.
I'm a ladies' man. And, hello? Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't offering you out for sex. But anyway, go on. I've got no idea where this is going, but carry on.
It's like a stream of consciousness type thing. And most of the people there were a bit younger than me, and they were all off their heads on drugs. And I just I looked around, and there were a few little sort of thuggish characters that you would think would be Eminem fans.
Yes.
And then there was myself, who looked a bit like an accountant. There was a jolly African chap swigging from a wine bottle whom I talked to.
Yes.
There were some older people, some younger people, and I just thought the power of unity through music, and he's been through so much, and I was so near him. And, you know, it was like that feeling I had when I was at that Russell Brand.
It's like that feeling that Mark Chapman had as he strode up to John Lennon for the second time that day, but this time he didn't pull out a copy of Double Fantasy, he pulled out a gun.
You're making me sound like a weirdo.
I'm not.
No, but it's just, it's a wonderful thing, and you do think that security at these places is tight for good reason.
Yeah.
Wasn't so much at the Russell Brand gig, surprising.
No. Security is I'm going to warn you now, security at my shows is very, very tight.
I was trained by Mossad.
Very tight security. I always carry a pair of chucks about my person. I won't reveal where.
Did you not say you were going to do one where... I didn't buy the ticket for this because it was a bit dear, but you were going to do one where you turn the lights off and switch a radio on?
Yeah, that's happening. It's only a tenner. What do you mean dear? I try and keep all my shows to a tenner wherever
more
possible.
For Russell Brand.
Yeah.
Eminem.
No, but it was either you or 20 quid for Salman Rushdie. Now, who's had a fatwa put on him? So, you know, swings and roundabouts, isn't it?
Okay. So have you been to see Salman Rushdie?
No, that was of October.
Right, and is that going to be in an intimate venue?
Well, I don't know, because he's quite a high-profile or individual, because he's some controversial things, doesn't he? I like his books.
Yes.
But he'll be doing like a little, I don't know, book signing talk. I mean, he's quite a heavy speaker, isn't he? It's not like you need some light relief with him. Like I prefer for something to chill out with. If it's between Salman Rushdie or Doc Brown, I'd go with Doc Brown, because it's like Salman Rushdie can get a bit heavy, you know.
Okay, well, John, thanks for a little insight into your weird and wonderful world.
All right, God bless you. Hip, hip, hip.
There we go. I mean, it really is. Now imagine that at 3:30 in the morning, and now we're talking. That person who's tweeting us, just mute him, because I'm being told by someone, he's someone who trolls people looking for attention, retweets and followers fuel his ego. Okay,
Silly.
fine. Well, that's that game over then. I enjoyed it while it lasted. But it's a phoning show, not a tweeting show. That's what I'm saying. Let's take a quick break.
Stimulating nightly emissions guaranteed to open your eyes and your mind.
Oh, my word.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. We'll have our Moses on just after midnight to... Twitter's been very weird tonight. There's now... anti-fascist groups quoting Jonathan's call earlier on. But here's the thing. Someone said he's daft in the head. He really is. This is someone who doesn't like Jonathan. He even mentioned gas chambers. But no, you can't just say that completely out of context. I will not allow... Well, I have no power of stopping it, of course. But no. You're all... idiots. I did really well over the weekend. I didn't really go on Twitter much at all, except to promote the show, and then I get sucked back in. So, and then I got sucked into something today where I had to defend my honour, because I came across as a Scrooge last night, I guess because a load of idiots got me involved in the conversation. I didn't know you can mute a conversation.
Oh, right.
You can mute a conversation. Now I know that, but I look like a Scrooge amongst lots of comedy writers. Anyway, so tomorrow, no Twitter. Much better for it. Much better for it. 0344 499 1000 is the telephone number. If you want to give us a call, you're more than welcome to. What have I written down here? I write down these. Here we go. Statistics. Stats out of this world. The Chinese are the world's biggest tea drinkers, while Europe beats the US in downing coffees. A new book reveals a world of differences in figures. This is filler. If I go to the papers, it's filler.
Just signposting that for you guys.
How we compare. Okay, right. So, it's top tens of stuff. Let's have a little look. Oh, here we go. Oh, no, that's not. Okay, which country has the most Nobel Prize winners?
Oh, that's going to be, I'm going to guess, Nobel Prize winners. It's going to be...
for goodness sake.
No.
Just say it.
No, I'm thinking Austria.
Austria?
Yeah.
Austria is tiny. It's not even in the top 10.
Hungary.
Hungary's tiny. It's not even in the top 10. It's obvious.
Go on.
America.
Really?
259. But what country comes second? So America's got 259. There's a country that comes second with 99.
Us.
Yeah, okay, right. Here we go. This is an easy one. Which country is the biggest cinema goers?
America.
Oh, you idiot. Incorrect answer.
Why?
Try again. It's obvious.
They've got the drive-in movie.
I don't think they still have drive-in
They
movies.
do.
Do they?
Yeah.
Is it true you clip the speaker on your car?
Yeah.
I always liked in movies when they go to the drive-in movie, or sometimes they go to some drive-in restaurants, and then the waitress comes and clicks like a tray on the window. I like that.
They do it.
I'd like that. No, it's not. It's not America. That's second with 1.28 billion cinema goers.
Who goes to the movies the most? Us.
More than America. We're ninth. It's obvious.
Not obvious.
Do you not have any general knowledge?
Not about this balls, no.
India.
Oh, right, yeah.
They
love
a movie.
You'd think they'd be fed up of films there, though, because they do, like, a new one every day, don't they?
They'd be this is the thing.
They can't all be good. I bet there are some shockers.
Oh, most of them are rubbish.
Yeah.
But then most Hollywood films are rubbish. My two ambitions I've got left in my life. Two ambitions. One is to be in The Archers. And occasionally The Archers tweets me and I get all excited. I think, well, this could be it.
I don't think that's how it's done.
No, it's not. But the other way, although there are some radio stations that give people jobs just on the number of Twitter followers they've got, the other ambition is to be in a Bollywood movie.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to be in a Bollywood movie. I'd love it. It would just... And I think I'd be good. I've got my own brown makeup.
No,
Huh?
you don't need to do that.
Well,
I think they provide makeups.
Okay. I'm happy. I'm not one of these fuddy-duddy left-wing liberals that thinks blacking up is passé.
If that's what's called for in the plot there.
I will do it.
If they're cool with it.
I would love to be in a Bollywood.
Why don't you write to them and ask? You're not a big dancer, though, are you?
Oh, shut the door. Shut the front door. I can do all that. All that. Do all that stuff. I love it. Oh, thank you very much.
No.
Oh, thank you very much indeed.
No.
Hello, sir. Mem, sir. Please, sir. Please, sir. Would you like...
You know who's a big Bollywood star? Sam Fox.
Sam Fox. When's she coming on the show?
It's all gone quiet with the old Cherry Red Records,
Isn't
man.
it?
It was all up. Maybe he's on holiday.
Or maybe she doesn't want to do it.
Bet she does.
Maybe she's heard the show and realised it's rubbish. Well, I'm not listening to that Sam Fox box set
anymore.
Until
with
we
the poster that
have
came with it
confirmed. It's on the floor of my car.
What, the poster?
I've not opened... Yeah, stopping a lay-by. It's dogging. For one, safer that way.
Retro.
There we go. This is a good one. Now, okay, which country has got the busiest roads and its vehicles per kilometre of road network?
India.
No, vehicles per kilometre of road network. India is massive, so it's going to be somewhere small.
Us.
Jersey. We're not in the top 10.
Why?
Sorry? We're not in the top 10.
Well, that's...
It's all, how can we put this? It's all Asians.
Oh, gosh.
It's all Asian countries.
Pakistan.
Nope. Oh, mate, it's obvious.
It's not.
Not China. The other one.
That's not Japan music.
No, it's Chinese music. I couldn't do Japan music. I couldn't think of it. Japan, with 628.4 vehicles per kilometre of road network.
I went to Japan. There were cars there.
Kath's voice is about to break, guys. Put your blank tapes in, press record and play. This is going to be after the news. She's going to come back talking like this. Finally, her balls have dropped.
They are massive.
They are very, very easy. You can only squeeze them out one at a time. I don't even know what that means. That was vulgar. Listen, what's going to happen now is some adverts are going to play.
I'm going to go.
Then the news is going to play. While the adverts and news are playing, Catherine is going to make a coffee.
Am I?
Yes, you are. And I'm going to go and have a waz. Then when we come back, we'll speak to Anne Moses. That's.
Could you not do it after you've had a waz?
I can't because I don't wash my hands for medical reasons. This is Talk Radio.
Across the UK, online and on DAB.
Take a far-out trip into the twilight zone of late-night radio with Iain Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Unmissable late-night radio with the original king of unconventional conversation.
Make contact with Iain Lee. The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
Good evening, dear listener. Don't forget, at any point this week, if we feel the show is cooking with gas, we can call a hashtag radio lock-in and carry on past 1 o'clock. It's all been approved by the bosses. We do it once and we see how it goes. We don't often get a guest that we've had on before on again, because generally you kind of think, well, that person came on and, you know, they said what they had to say and it was great, but what else is there to say? But we've had this next guest on before, and I just because I adore her, B, her book, Meow, My Groovy Life with Tiger Beats Teen Idols is brilliant, and C, because I don't think we even scratched the surface with what this woman has seen and has experienced. So I am more than thrilled to say, for the second time, and it's a rare honour, ladies and gentlemen, it's Miss Anne Moses. Evening, Anne.
Hello, Ian.
Now, Anne, I've got beef with you.
Oh, what about?
I'm going to tell you. We have been communicating. We've been trying to set this up for ages. And I get the feeling that we're both as flaky as each other. And then we were messaging each other on Facebook, and I just checked in today just to check that we were all set. And you replied, you thought we were doing this last week.
Yep.
But then I felt
confusing.
I felt bad. So then I scrolled through the messages, and you'd suggested today. You'd said the 29th.
Did I really?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
That's a capsule of my life right now. Getting things mixed up. You know, I scheduled dinner with friends.
Yep.
And there are 2 of these restaurants in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I sent them to one, and I took us to the other one.
Oh no!
Oh yeah, we eventually got together, and it all worked out. But it's like, I don't know if it's senior moments or just I've got too many things in my brain at the moment.
Listen, you mentioned Phoenix, and for those who don't know, right, you were the editor, you were a writer, then you were an editor as a young lady in the 60s for Tiger Beat, which I don't think we got over here, but it was a huge pop magazine in the States. How many issues did that sell?
About 3 years after I came on board, we were selling 500,000 copies a month, which was a really lot at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's a huge amount.
And it was a huge amount, and we had a price increase during that period from 25 cents a copy to 35 cents and eventually 50 cents. Wow. So you can see we were just rocking the chart.
But also, and I say that I don't think that was available over here, but you did write... Was it the NME that you wrote for over here?
Yes, I did a weekly column called America Calling, and then lots of features, because once they wanted to hear about the monkeys, then Tiger Beat gave me permission to reprint those and be paid for them, no less.
Wow.
By NME, like their life stories and different things like that. And I did some things for NME even before I started Tiger Beat, in the way of just some freelance articles about some of the soul artists.
Yeah. Hey, listen, anybody who can work out a way to get paid twice for the same job, that's the master stroke, isn't it really?
I guess it was my answer to being paid less as a woman.
Well, yeah, and that's true. And again, we mentioned this before, but let's address that. When your is it now? It was in a desk, wasn't it? Was it your boss's desk that you found something?
It was we moved to new offices when I had been there about 5.5 years, and so my boss, he got a new desk for his office. And I got his desk, which was nicer than the one I had, and I was all excited. And unfortunately, though, he left a list of what all the other editors were paid. And at that time, we had 5 or 6 different magazines by that point in time. And it turns out the male editor of our newest magazine, which wasn't even making money yet, it takes a while to build up and build an audience, he was being paid double what I was. So, unfortunately, that was the beginning of the end for me, just because I was pretty crushed. It's just the way it went. I could have taken their offer when they said, we'll raise your salary to, double what it is now. Please stay. And I was too bummed out and didn't do it.
But here's the thing. It's still happening in 2017. I don't know if you saw, there's a big scandal over here recently about people, the salaries of people who work for the BBC were released. And the men were earning significantly more than the women for doing the same job. And I find it amazing in 2017. That's still a thing.
I know. I don't understand. I don't understand it. When are the good old boys going to quit running things?
Yeah, I know.
I don't know.
Now, listen, you mentioned you're in Phoenix, and, of course, Phoenix got me thinking about, by the time I get to Phoenix, Glenn Campbell, and I was wondering if who passed away recently, of course, and I'm a huge Glenn Campbell fan. I managed to interview him a couple of times, and he was an absolute gentleman to me. Did you ever get to meet Glenn?
I did many times, and it was always in a very casual setting, because he did so much session work.
Yeah.
Where he was doing, playing guitar on other people's records, especially before he became a big star in his own right.
Yeah.
And so I would see him at, when they were laying down a track for the Monkees, when he was with the Wrecking Crew, or he would just be doing the guitar part on somebody else's album, and he'd be around the studios. And then little by little, he started, having his hit songs, and he became guests on a lot of people's show. But then once he had of course he was on the Smothers Brothers show a lot, and then once he got his own show, the Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour. I spent a week there when the Bee Gees were in town in 1968. In January of 1968, because they were rehearsing the whole week to do his show at the end of the week. So it was always a matter of standing around, chatting with him, just very casual, like you say.
Yeah.
He was that same sweet Southern boy. That, the country never came out of the boy. It was always a part of him, and he was so nice, and he was a good guy to be around. And
you're right to mention the guitar playing, because amazing voice, amazing hits. But the guitar playing, man. Funnily enough, I think it was just before he died. Me and Catherine were just going on YouTube and typing in Glenn Campbell guitar solos. Oh man, what that guy could do on a guitar is just incredible.
It really is. It really is. And he was writing music up until he couldn't write anymore, and he's left us with a lot of wonderful songs.
I'm having great fun here. While I'm talking to you, I'm typing in your name into Google. And then clicking, I've got all the dirt on you, Anne, and clicking on the images, and I'm just finding some brilliant pictures. I've just tweeted one. Have a look at this picture I've tweeted, dear listener. It's a great picture. It's you outside with The Who, and Roger Daltrey's got his full kind of pomp of hair. Pete Townsend is wearing some kind of Nehru jacket, of course, with flowers on and pulling a silly face, and Keith Moon's got a dirty look on him. I mean, it's just the people that you've met. It's just amazing. Tell me about The Who. What were The Who like?
Oh, they were so much fun. The thing is, with the time those pictures were taken, it was very early in their career.
Yeah.
I think they had performed, I'm pretty sure they had performed at Monterey Pop, and they had done a little bit around Hollywood, but not any big stadium concerts or anything like that yet. And it was just a matter of they were being represented by Derek Taylor, and so he was the one who called me and said, "Oh, this great new group from England, you've got to meet them," and so on. And of course, I'd seen them at Monterey Pop, and once you've seen The Who, and at that time, it was they were just groundbreaking at every time they made an appearance. They did something new, something crazy. And it was the band you just, didn't know what to expect, which made them really different and so much fun, when you knew you were going to be in for a really good surprise when you went to see The Who. And
you could have been in for a bigger surprise, couldn't you? Didn't Roger Daltrey crack on to you?
He made a pass at me, and yes, he did. He just invited me up to his room, and I was just way too chicken to say, "Oh yeah, that might be interesting."
They must have. You must go on. Sorry.
The picture of me standing in front of him, I've got a black velvet, dress on, and it's at the record company party. But when that picture was being taken, he was asking me, and I was trying to be as mature as I could and politely decline. And And he was really nice about it. It's kind of like, you know, and I think I asked him, well, what would we be going up to your room for? And he said to have a little fun. And, you know, I believe in no regrets, but I suppose if I could have one do-over, I wouldn't.
You do over Roger. And this is the thing, and I want to say this because I think it's important to say this. You met all of these huge stars, and we'll talk again about Elvis. I've just posted a brilliant picture of you with Elvis. But you were, for the most part, you were chaste, weren't you? C-H-A-S-T-E. You didn't sleep with the pop stars, apart from a Bee Gee that you had a serious relationship with. But all of your colleagues,
and the one I, you know, decided to lose my virginity to, he counts too. But that was pretty quick.
Who was? Hang on a minute. Am I allowed to? I can't remember if it's in the book or not. Who was the one you lost your virginity to?
Oh, well, he was the former Mouseketeer, who then was the lead singer of the Standells, Dick Dodd.
Okay.
You know, the Standell song "Dirty Water."
Oh, yeah.
Really big, you know.
Yeah.
Like in Boston, and they were a famous garage band, and of course they toured with the Raiders. That's how I met Dick, and
you met Dick.
Yeah.
So to speak. I don't want to be too vulgar.
Oh, and
I'm sorry, Anne. I couldn't resist.
That one up.
I couldn't resist. But you found out, and the book is brilliant, right? Because I love all those pop stars, but also I think it's a really interesting insight as to what it was like to be a woman doing a proper, you know, doing a job in what was, you know, still perceived as a man's industry. And you mentioned the salary, but you found out much later that loads of your colleagues thought you were sleeping around, and that's how you got the good stories. Not that you were good at your job, but you were kind of giving out favours to get the stories.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what I guess, you know, the bosses at Tiger Beat thought, because they're the ones who gave me the nickname, which I didn't really appreciate. But you know, I just couldn't have done it any other way. I wasn't a groupie. Not that there's anything wrong with being a groupie, but it's just that wasn't who I was. And, you know, I really wasn't. I was adventurous, I would say, more than some of my friends, but not as adventurous as to, you know, embrace every part of, you know, peace, love, and rock and roll. Again, I'm looking at these wonderful, wonderful pictures of Elvis, and when you came on, you talked a lot about being at the Elvis 68 comeback special, or the Christmas show, whatever it was called. One thing, my problem with that show, the guy with the tambourine, you know that bit where you can be seen quite prominently where Elvis is playing with all the old guitar players in the round. There's a dude in the audience with a tambourine. Did that guy bring his own tambourine? Because that ruins it for me. I honestly don't remember seeing that. I think I was concentrating too much on, you know,
on Elvis.
You know who I was looking up at from 2 feet away. So I really didn't notice him, and I certainly didn't in production.
Right.
But that kind of throws me off. I would wonder what's going on too.
Yeah. Why would you know? I'm stupid, of course. Why would you notice a tambourine when you're sat 2 feet away from Elvis? What's a stupid question? And obviously it's been the anniversary of Elvis's death recently. 40 years, man. 40 years. Wow. And on the radio, there's been loads of kind of old documentaries about him, and I've been kind of dipping into those. But you met him quite a few times, and you were, I mean, would you say you were friends with Elvis? Did you ever go to Gracelands when he was there?
No, and I wouldn't say I was his friend. I mean, okay. He was so insulated and isolated, you know, by choice, and so the times that I did get to talk with him face to face and be in the front row at the concert, you know, in Vegas, those were really fortunate circumstances that put me in those places.
Yeah.
But Elvis, I mean, he just had such a tight circle of friends, and why in the world would he ever be interested in, a new friend like me? I don't think I fit in his world. And, but he was such a gentleman to me, and he was everything I hoped he would be when I did get the chance to speak with him, which was very brief, on the set of Change of Habit. And, I'd say we maybe spent 5 minutes total talking, and that was a big enough thrill for me. I don't know if I could have taken anymore.
For those who don't know, because I only found out about Change of Habit is an Elvis movie. It's the last kind of movie he made where he acts in it, I think. And it's a bit of an obscure one, because it came out after the 68 comeback special. And the Change of Habit, isn't it? Sally Fields is a nun, and he has an affair with her. Is that the plot to that movie?
No, it actually is. He plays a psychiatrist.
Oh, does he now?
Of all things.
Yeah.
And it's Mary Tyler Moore.
Mary Tyler Moore, that's it. Thank you.
And she does play a nun, and they aren't romantic in the movie because she's a chaste, she's a nun, and but they kind of eye flirt with each other.
Can you eye flirt with a nun? I think that's still a sin. I think that's bad news.
Probably. I'd have to look it up. But on the set, it was a whole nother story.
Yeah.
It was Mary Tyler Moore, and while I was on the set, after she and Elvis filmed one scene, they then laid on this blanket for a half an hour, and I described this pretty much in detail in the book. And I mean, the production people are around, the extras are around, I'm around, and they just kind of laid on this blanket and made out.
What?
And they didn't stop. And I mean, she was married to her husband, Grant Tinker. He was married to Priscilla Still at the time. And it was just odd. I didn't know if this was a part of Hollywood I hadn't seen before, because I'd gotten a lot of surprises on different sets.
Yeah.
The way Hollywood people act differently than other people.
Yeah.
But I just was kind of blown away. And they look like two teenagers.
Isn't that incredible?
Neither one of them were teenagers.
No, they're both married adults. Yes. I was a weird kid growing up, because I in the 80s, I was born in 73, so in the 80s I was listening to the Monkees and the Beatles and the Who, and also, I think one of the most underrated pop singers of our time is Mr. David Cassidy. Genuinely, I think he's brilliant. I think his solo albums, more so than the Partridge Family stuff, I think his first 4 solo albums are pop masterpieces. Now again, he's another gentleman that's not very well at the moment with dementia, Alzheimer's, I think.
Right.
I have heard that David Cassidy could be he could be full of himself and a bit of a dick. And I wondered what your dealings with Cassidy were, and if he was a bit. Even recently, people that have met him have said he thinks he's still a huge star.
Well, my impression was always, by the time the Partridge Family and David came along, that's when I was, older than 21. I was 22, 23.
Oh, you were past it then, Anne.
Yeah, I was really getting old then, and so it was like a different experience than I had with the Monkees. The Monkees, I felt like they were peers. We were just about the same age, and that just seemed like a very I hate to overuse the word, but organic situation.
Yeah.
We were very comfortable together. With David, he was a young kid in my eyes. He was a young teenager, so it's not like I was enamored with love, and so it was more a business transaction. And with David, the fame came on so fast, and he had a really hard time dealing with it. And my theory is that it was because he was a child that had no support system.
Yeah.
His mom lived back east. His dad really didn't give him the time of day. even though he craved that from his father. And so he kind of went through this very difficult experience like a loner. He was all on his own, having to make adult decisions and work his tail off. And so nothing that ever happened during that time surprised me. I mean, he tried his darndest to outwit me and get lost when it was time to do an interview.
Yeah.
He was kind of a punk. But it was understandable just because he was really going through this whole, I observed so many people in Hollywood go through this whole transition of being an everyday person that maybe has dreams and aspirations, and then a week later they're a worldwide superstar, and it's just overwhelming for them. And some of them do okay with it, and some of them it really messes them up. And you were saying he's been called egotistical. That's my impression. I haven't seen him since those days, but I read his biography, and the biography was like, really, you have to tell us, how big your manhood is three different times in the book.
He does.
He
does, doesn't he?
Are you trying to convince us? And it's just kind of made me scratch my head a little bit.
I tell you what's great as well. Your website, AnnMoses.com, and it's Ann without the E, ANN Moses.com. It's a great website, right? And I want a couple of things.
Thank you.
Oh, it's brilliant. And a couple of things. Again, I'm going to tweet all the links to this, so don't worry. The Playboy Club Bunny Manual. What the hell were you thinking?
Well, isn't that funny? I mean, I got that idea, to write a book.
Yes.
And I wanted to call it "How the Bunnies Do It." Because I thought
oh, that's a great title.
That was a title that was, approved by Hugh Hefner. He said he approved for me to have that title and to write the book, but the book was going to be about how the bunnies, the Playboy bunnies, keep their figures through diet and exercise.
Yep.
And I met with the bunny mother. She got the okay from Hugh Hefner that I could write this book. And then, I don't know, life happened. I didn't write the book, and I didn't interview any of the girls, which would have been fascinating, no end back in those days, because it just, I feel like that's one that I shouldn't have passed up.
Yeah.
Something must have intervened, whether it was Stories for Enemy or going somewhere for Tiger Beat. But that would have been really a neat experience to kind of have a little more of the inside story, not like Gloria Steinem, who became a bunny undercover, to tell the real behind-the-scenes story. But it just would have been, it would have been really fun and a neat thing to do, and I didn't follow through, but I couldn't not mention it because, here I am in 2017, I'm going, geez, Hugh Hefner said, yeah, go ahead and do this. I mean, today he'd go, well, yeah, if you want to pay us $1 million to use that title and...
Yeah, of course. You'd have to license it and everything.
Think about it.
And
this was, you got the bosses, okay, go for it.
I'm going to ask you one more geeky musical question, because you've been and seen things that I can only dream of. Now, I'm a huge Beach Boys fan. And they've recently released this wonderful 2 CD set of outtakes and stuff recorded in 1967. And one of the things is this album that they were going to release, and it's been on bootleg for years. They were going to release it. They went to Hawaii to record a live album called Laid in Hawaii, Ho Ho Ho. And it was this weird kind of stripped back, before the Beatles and the White Album, guys, this weird stripped back concert where they're playing really stripped down instruments and versions and slow stoned versions of their songs. You were at that concert.
I was, and I've been told. It's actually the man that writes their fan magazine. It's called Endless Summer. It's an ongoing today, magazine. And he wrote me and said, "You were at that concert. Did you? What was it like? I mean, everybody says they were all on LSD." And I said, "Well, little old naive me, I was just hanging out with Dino, Dizzy, and Billy and the Raiders, and they were getting ready. They had already gone on stage, of course.
Yeah.
And I'm not even sure if I stayed through the whole concert. I'm so sorry to say, but it's like I didn't know that was going on, and now you're telling me I have a chance to hear it. I'm going to do that."
It's a bit of an anticlimax, to be honest. I've heard the bootlegs for years, and then the CD came out. I thought, oh, wonderful. And you can see why it wasn't released.
Oh.
It's not that good. It's not their finest moment. And I love this about you, because this was your job, and here's me, going, wow, you saw this Beach Boys concert. Wow, you met The Who. But, it was your job, and people say this about my job. Your job must be so exciting and so glamorous. Well, it's not glamorous, and the excitement has kind of worn off, because I come in every day and I do this, and it pays the mortgage and it feeds the kids. That must have happened to you at some point. You're going into work one day, perhaps even some days going, oh God, I really don't want to go in today and interview Paul Revere and the Raiders, or go and, meet whoever it is you've got to meet that day. Did that ever happen, or was every day a wonderful, excitement-filled experience for you?
Well, I would say that the early years I never knew what the day was going to bring, and so I looked forward to every day, and then it would exceed my expectations, with where I'd be and who I'd be with, and the luster never wore off when we were, by the time we were writing about the Partridge Family and the Brady Bunch, also kids that were younger than me. At that point in my career, I was getting more and more into what kind of contests can we run to sell more magazines. I was interested in the marketing. I was interested in how the pages were laid out. Yeah. I mean, I got very OCD about it, but I'm a really organized person. You might not believe that from us, well, missing our phone call. Yeah. Probably my fault. But I mean, I'm like Martha Stewart before Martha Stewart.
Yeah.
And I love the organization of it. I would plan where every ad would go and where it would get good coverage, but it didn't detract from who we were featuring on the rest of the page. And so I got into all those intricacies. And so I again loved going to work, and but for a different reason.
Yeah.
And I know if I had stayed, I really feel like, some of the groups that Sharon Lee ended up reporting on, she took over my job when I left. And I mean, here she was going out on the set of John Travolta's TV show, and the Fonz's, Happy Days. I saw the Happy Days pilot just before I left Hollywood. And so I would have been on some of those sets, and writing about those people, and how fascinating might they have been, particularly with how John Travolta's career has gone, how Ron Howard's career has gone, and Henry Winkler. So I think, the interesting people would have been nonstop had I kept after it.
Do you ever speak to any of the pop stars? Because a load of these pop stars, Mark Lindsay from the Raiders, who weren't big over here at all, but are a great band, by the way. You should check out, guys. Mark Lindsay and Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees are doing a tour. The Beach Boys are still round in various forms. Do you ever speak to any of the pop stars that you interviewed back in the day?
Well, I had a wonderful reunion with the Monkees, Peter and Mickey, 3 years ago when they came here locally.
Oh, brilliant.
And then Oh, yeah. So that was awesome. And I mean, Peter and I had a half an hour talk, and it was just, we really caught up. It was fantastic.
Oh, that's lovely.
Mickey gave me a couple of minutes, and Michael snuck out the door. I even have the picture of him sneaking out the door.
Because Nesmith never wanted to talk to you in the 60s. Did he still not want to talk to you 50 years later? He's still running away from you.
Exactly. He's still running away from me. You know, it's like, what's with that? I would like him to answer that question. What's with that, Michael?
Oh, good for Peter, though. That's great that he gave you so much time.
And then speaking of the Raiders, you know, I was reunited with Jim Valley, who was one of the Raiders from, he was in 67 and 68, and he was Harpo. Yeah. And when he had his 70th birthday party, it's one of the neatest parties I've ever been to. He played on stage with his kids. This rock and roll band played all night. I was sore from dancing all night. It was just fantastic. So, and I hope to have the opportunity to speak to some of the others. I missed, Nikki was in town a week or two ago. I'm going to have to do some traveling if I want to.
I would pay, Anne, to hear you interviewing Mark Lindsay again from Paul Revere and the Raiders. I would pay to hear that.
Well, I was hoping that tour was going to come close by. And because I would love to talk to him again. I mean, it's been so many years. Yeah. And with Peter, it was as if no time had passed at all.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, well, I mean, and of course, I had delusions of if I could just gather enough money so I could travel to some of these people's homes and just do a half an hour YouTube interview of all the people I used to write about. Wouldn't that be so much fun, and kind of show where they're living and what their life turned out like, and just bring everybody up to date, just like I'm bringing myself up to date. So that's still on the list, the to-do list. If I could, make it happen.
Here's the thing: you've got to do it kind of soon, because these guys are in their 70s now. And we saw last year that
As am I.
Well, I know, but. I don't want to say it because it's a miserable thought. Do you miss it? I know that you kind of you left the magazine when you found out that you were getting paid half of what some other dude was getting paid for a magazine that had only just started. And also your first husband, he had, in inverted commas, he had a normal job, didn't he? And found you mixing with pop stars a little bit weird.
Yeah, he was uncomfortable with it, And I did stop. I never had a job that was so rewarding as that one. Yeah. Except when I became a mom.
Yeah.
Now, I have to say, that's been my greatest job of my life. So, I'm back, back in the real world, not in Hollywood, but raising my sons with my husband, we both, that's the best show we've ever been to.
Yeah. Is one son you've got?
No, two.
Two sons. And do they... They must be so impressed. I mean, they're probably bored of it now, as all kids. My kids are bored of me doing this.
Kidding?
But go on.
I would be, when they were in junior high school or whatever, I'd say, "Hey, you guys, Mom's on TV with Elvis. You want to come see him?" They go, "We've already seen it, Mom."
Of course.
And it's like, they just roll their eyes, and it's like, enough already. And then, when my son, it was probably 5 years ago, my son was, at that point in time, he was an assistant pro at a country club. Now he's a PGA head pro. He's an amazing golfer, but he went and saw the Who in Denver. Yeah. And of course he posted the picture in the audience. He goes, "Mom, I'm at the Who concert in Denver." Wow. And he said, "I hate to tell you, but I don't understand any of the words."
Oh, I love it.
It kind of came full circle. It's like he knew that it would be cool to go see the Who.
Yeah.
but he didn't even know what they were singing, so it's like, oh well.
What's next, Dan? What's the next project? Are you going to do another book, or what's happening?
No, I just hope to keep up with book sales and answering questions. And to tell you the truth, there has been a bit of interest in maybe making the book into a TV show.
Oh, hello now. Yes.
Oh, I mean, doesn't that just sound like out of this world crazy? But,
who's going to play you?
The whole concept of it just, to me, is so exciting.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't like to be carried back to those times?
Oh,
I mean,
man.
That's the response I've gotten on the book. Oh, you took me back to my childhood. Oh, gosh, it was so great remembering those awesome years.
Yeah.
So it's the nostalgia part that I think would just be, you know, a hit with more than just the baby boomer generation, but the ones that followed, you know, even if they're watching it because that's the way their parents, you know, were carrying on. It would. You never know what's going to happen.
And the book is superb, and I urge you to go out and buy it. It's on Amazon. You can get it from Anne's website. It's called Meow: My Groovy Life with Tiger Beats Teen Idols. It's an absolute joy. You can also go to AnneMoses.com. That's Anne without the E. And have a read of that, because there's blogs and there's stuff. And honestly, it's such a thrill to talk to you. You are welcome on any time you want, but just make sure we both agree on the date next time, please. Is that okay?
It's a promise.
And I love you. Thank you so much for coming on. I'll speak to you again soon.
It was great to talk to you. Thanks so much for calling.
Take care. Bye-bye. I love it. I love her. And the book is an absolute gem. It really is a good read. You know me, I wouldn't... If a book ain't no good, I'm going to tell you, it's a cracking read. We've got 15 minutes of the show left. I've missed all the ad breaks, so let's squeeze them into this.
No rules nocturnal nattering for nightbirds, nurses, and Nosferatu.
All right, cool.
The Late Night Alternative with Iain Lee on Talk Radio.
I love... Katherine is back. I love Anne so much.
Yeah. She's so nice. She's so nice.
And the things that the people she's met, they're all my heroes. She's met all of my heroes when they were at their prime or just before they reached their prime. On the website, she's posted, she was on, it was June. And she's posted the interview on her website. May I read?
You may.
May I read what she's written? Lucky me. Doing an interview with Iain Lee took me straight back to the 60s when I got to hang out with all the groovy British groups. Oh, that swoon-worthy accent.
Oh,
there we go. There we go, you see, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, she wants this one for tomorrow, so I will...
Her website's brilliant, by the way, genuinely brilliant. And I hope you dug that, guys, because I know not everyone's into the 60s music as much as I am, but I just think to speak to someone who was there... I mean, that was... Even if you got nothing out of it, to hear that Elvis was making out with Mary Tyler Moore on the floor of the set of A Change of Habit...
Well, everyone else was there.
In front of everyone. Elvis, you dirty dog. Dirty dog. Flipping at calls. We got 9 minutes because I muffed up the ads. Call straight to air for 9 minutes. 0344 499 1000. I'm in that kind of mood. Which country has the most prisoners?
Oh, God. Most prisoners. All right, well, I'm thinking of somewhere quite draconian.
Yep.
Thailand.
No, that's 6th with 286,861.
Okay. Most prisoners. America?
Yeah, of course it is, with over 2 million. Then it's China. China's next. And there's a difference of about 500,000 betwixt China and America.
Cripes.
Well, because the Chinese kill them all. They shave their heads and make wigs for Victoria Beckham. No, they don't, guys. They don't. That's a joke.
It's a very dark joke.
Well, you know, sometimes my years and years ago, when I was at university doing performing arts. We used to have a bloke called Paul DeLake who was there. He was a lovely bloke. I met him a few years back, and he was lovely. Such a nice bloke. But at the time, he had long hair, and he was, remember that character on The Far Show? A little bit way, a little bit wool.
Yeah.
It was exactly like him. It's like, and he looked like him. I'm thinking, well, how have they got this? And he went off, some of them formed a sort of theatre group and went off around the country doing little tours. And I can't really, I don't know why I'm saying that, because you said it was dark. And they were at one place in Devon, I think it was Devon. And they were sort of being met by the person who ran the theatre and stuff. And there was a poster up for a black comedy.
Oh, God.
And Paul said, yeah, well, it's great that you're giving, ethnic groups a place to come and perform. It's a great line, isn't it?
Was he doing a joke?
No. He was being dumb.
Wow.
He was being dumb. A black comedy.
Gosh.
It's a strange phrase. Why black humour?
Because...
Black darkness.
Yeah, darkness.
I suppose.
Yeah.
The Darkness weren't a very good band.
Oh, but I thought they were fun.
You never got to interview them.
No, I thought their music and video image was fun.
Well, yeah, man.
I think he had problems.
They took themselves, let's say, because they came on a show I did, my breakfast show I did on TV called Rise. They came on.
Did they have their nipples out?
No, I can't remember, but I remember I liked the album. Half the album was great, half of it was rubbish. I don't know if it stands the test of time, but Get Your Hands Off of My Woman,
Hilarious.
MF, is a great song. Get your hands off of my woman, mother funkster. It's a great song. But they took themselves, very seriously. And then the second album, I believe, they spent an absolute fortune getting Queen's producer and a shed load of cocaine. And it sold about 7 copies, unfortunately. 7 copies of that. But I believe in a thing called love.
Just listen to the rhythm of my heart.
I told you that's what they wanted me to do on Stars in Their Eyes, was that.
I can see why.
Well, no.
They were just thinking about stature and...
I wanted to be Beyonce.
Well...
They wouldn't let me be Beyonce.
Although they did let Russell Kane be Beyonce, didn't they?
No, that was Let's Dance for Comic Relief.
Oh, right.
That was on that. That was. But then I wanted to be a black woman on there, and they said they stopped people blacking up.
Yeah.
And they weren't really keen on people cross-dressing. No, they kind of said, we've kind of had enough of those.
Oh, but...
That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. I didn't get paid for that.
Didn't you?
No, I didn't get paid for that.
You got paid for your teeth.
We got, well, they were going to pay to fix my teeth because I fell off the stage, knocked myself out, and chipped my teeth. And they sent me to a private place, and the private place was going to do it. And it was like about 7 or 8 grand. And so I went to an NHS, and he said, well, yeah, we can do it. It's 49 quid. I went, oh, just do that. Fix that tooth, but then it fell out. Where is it? I can't remember where it is.
What have they fixed?
Well, there's a tooth, I can't remember which one it is now. There's a tooth with a chip in it at the front.
Yeah.
And they fixed that. They stuck a bit on, but then it fell out.
Well, because you pay 49 quid rather than 7 grand, mate.
Well, exactly. But, and we got, I remember we got, a talking to by, it was me, Ade Edmondson, Chesney Hawkes, and Toya Wilcox, and another 80s it was Claire Grogan. Lovely Claire Grogan. Yeah. They were doing one. There was that Lee Nelson, who was furious that he didn't win.
Oh, really?
Furious he didn't win.
He does try very hard.
To
be funny.
Who else was there? We all bonded so well. It was fun doing it. But we got a good old talking to by the charity man. What's the charity man?
The charity man?
You know, the charity man who's behind Comic Relief.
Oh, yes. Not Lenworth Henworth.
No.
Richard Curtis.
That's it. Married to?
Emma Freud.
Yeah, and we got a good old talking to before the show, telling us, just us in the dressing room, in the green room, telling us what we were doing it for and how it would help. Real downer to the real downer vibe.
Not inspirational.
No, it was not. I said to Ed Emerson, "Why? I mean, I get it, but." It's really killed the mood a bit.
How did you do it? Did he do it in that kind of... Because I got a phone call once.
Really nice bloke. And I love Emma Freud. I think she's fantastic.
I met her once with you and she was delightful.
Wasn't she? She made a joke about us, yeah.
She did.
Yeah, she was nice. I like Emma Freud a lot. I like them both. But I just thought, right before, phone us up. I mean, it's great, of course, that we knew what we were doing it for. Because, I think it was to put egos to one side was the thing. But it was, it was buzzkill.
He thought it was a scene in one of his films and it'd be underlaid with some soft piano music. I once got a phone call from the NSPCC, who I was giving £2 a month to, because that's what they asked for in the advert.
Yeah.
Right, for years, even when I couldn't afford it, because the advert was good. And I kept getting phone calls, and the final one I got where I said, please, can you stop ringing me up, because I only give you £2 a month and that cost you about £4. That phone call, it was really long. It was this guy with a lovely radio voice. Hi, can I talk to you about Michael? Now, Michael, and he did that like a story.
Oh, no, come on.
And he said, so if you could just give us £2 a month. I went, yeah, I've been doing that for about 5 years.
Could you give us 4? That's what you're doing. Can you make it 4? Just phone up and say, look, hello, we're from the NSPCC. Thank you so much for the money you give us. Honestly, it's brilliant. We really appreciate it.
He didn't know I was giving. He was phoning because I'd bought some Christmas cards.
And then you go, look, I know I'm chancing it. I know stuff is tight. You're giving us £2 a month. It's brilliant. Is there any chance you give us £4 a month? Is that? No? All right. I'm sorry to bother. That's how you do it.
Yeah. Don't give me the long drop story.
And
just
that's why I'm not getting paid £750,000 to head a charity.
Mm-hmm.
These things happen. Well, dear listener, that is it. We have come to the end. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Anne. Oh God, I love her so much. If I got a time machine after I'd gone back in time and made love to me, I'd get a time machine and go back to 1967 and meet her. Right. Just for a chat.
I feel sorry for past you that's going to meet you in the future. Because he doesn't know what's coming. Well, he doesn't. He didn't ask for that.
It's consenting. It'll be consent. I'm not going to...
How do you know?
I'm not going to rape myself.
You don't know. You don't know how you'll feel.
Of course I'll consent.
Would you?
I generally do. Anyway, back tonight at 10, don't I?